This sent a message to the hotel industry that safety, security, and privacy were important things. They understood that some people may think that it was not enough, or some people might think it was too much, but they thought this was the number that they could come to an agreement on that would send the best message.
How dangerous is texting while walking? More than you probably suspect. A new study finds pedestrian deaths rose 10% last year as the price of gas plunged and motorists drove more miles than ever. Bits and pieces of the life and legacy of Joan Rivers go up for auction in New York in June, including jewelry and designer gowns. Melissa Rivers says it'll provide a through-the-keyhole experience for fans. Christie's is putting 200 items that belong to her under the hammer. Girls star Lena Dunham is out of a New York hospital and recovering at home from surgery for a ruptured ovarian cyst. She tweeted a thanks to fans. This is ABC News.
Control, this is QL1. Side hatch is secure.
QL1, this is Control. We copy, showing normal cabin pressure. Over.
Control, this is QL1. Do you like mortgages?
That's a negative, QL1. Over.
Control, do you like rockets?
That's affirmative, QL1. Over.
Do you like rocket mortgages?
I'm listening. Over.
Of course you are, Control. Everyone likes rockets. Control, Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is the first on-demand mortgage machine that turns the entire mortgage process into a fast, powerful, completely online experience.
Copy that, QL1. I'm going to go ahead and push this button in 3, 2, 1.
Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage.
Rocket.
Visit for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
An extended warranty isn't always needed when you buy a car. ABC's Daria Albinger cites one man's case as an example.
You can get some great deals on used cars, but since they're high mileage, you might think an extended warranty is a good idea. Raul Galvez found out that isn't always the case. He had the 2003 Volkswagen Passat he recently bought inspected, found it was solid, and then decided to cancel the $2,000 coverage. The dealer refused, so he took it a step further.
A week after, I wanted to follow up. Not with the dealer, but with the warranty company.
He eventually got a refund, but he says in retrospect, he should have gotten the car inspected first. Daria Albinger, ABC News.
As Donald Trump runs for president, he can spend his downtime watching ex-wife Marla Maples Dancing with the Stars. She's been chosen for the next season, along with Jodie Sweetin of Fuller House, Super Bowl MVP Von Miller, Fox News host Geraldo Rivera, and Wanye Morris of Boys to Men. Doug Flutie and Misha Barton are also in the cast. Karen Chase, ABC News.
Local news is brought to you by Shelton Health and Rehabilitation Center. Find them online at sheltonhealthandrehab.com.
From the iFIBER ONE Newsradio studios, I'm Mary Lynn Foster. A state-of-the-art Sierra Pacific Industries sawmill could be running in early 2017. Lisa Perry, community relations representative for Sierra Pacific, says they think that it's going to be one of the highest tech mills in the nation. Using laser technology to size up and to cut logs, the mill is to produce wooden boards used in construction. The goal is to produce 500 million board feet of studs a year. The mill is to be tooled and to produce 2x4s, 2x6s, and 4x4 studs. The Sierra Pacific Mill is to replace the Simpson Timber Company's Shelton plant, which was closed last year, leaving some 270 workers jobless. A house on the Squaxin Island Tribe Reservation was destroyed by fire yesterday morning. Mason County Fire District 4 Chief Bob Burbridge said district firefighters responded to the blaze after receiving a call about 6:30 a.m. They believe the fire started around 4 a.m. Firefighters were able to save vehicles outside the home along with boats and fishing equipment. Mason County Fire Marshal Mike Patty said the cause of the fire was a heating device which was too close to a bed that ignited. He called the fire accidental. No one was injured. Director Lynn Longan from Mason County's Economic Development Council told Daybreak about a new opportunity for Mason County businesses.
The Edward Lowe Foundation has an economic gardening program. It's a nationwide. They're just starting. Washington State, is just starting a pilot program, and Mason County is one of the first counties to actually participate in that pilot program. We're also using some of the funds that were in the appropriations that Senator Sheldon put into our appropriations for us. We're using some of those funds to take, Jennifer and I are getting certified, and then we have enough money money to put at least 5 businesses through this economic gardening program. And then the state of Washington Department of Commerce, Brian Bonlander is the director, he approached me last week and says, I want you to get me at least 5 more businesses that we will help pay for. So we could have potentially up to 10 businesses in Mason County.
Lynn says the businesses that will be considered for this program are established businesses that are ready for growth but need assistance in things like exporting, marketing, or research to get to the next level. Longan says the concept of economic gardening is to grow your own local economy by nurturing entrepreneurs. Longan and Jennifer Beria from the EDC will take part in a training and certification coming next month for economic gardening. Hear more about this in the full interview on the Daybreak page at iFIBER1newsradio.com. For iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Mary Lynn Foster.
Science Fantastic with Professor Michio Kaku. Saturdays at 5, Sundays at 6 on iFIBER One News Radio.
Because of the fact there's been a revolution in paleontology with regards to how we view the dinosaurs. When I was a kid, we learned the dinosaurs were cold-blooded, lumbering creatures, kind of dim-witted. They didn't nurture their young, and that's why they went extinct. They were simply too stupid. Well, now we realize that we were pretty much wrong in how we view dinosaurs.
At Mason PUD3, we know that time changes all things, like phone numbers, mailing addresses, and email addresses, even names. PUD3 needs your correct account information for emergency contacts and online security. To make this fun, all PUD3 customers who update or confirm their account information by April 27th will have their names placed into a drawing for a free iPad mini. Go to masonpud3.org/account to learn more.
Now, from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Jeff Slakey.
Good Tuesday morning to you, 6:08 at Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio. I'm Jeff Slakey. Carol Gardner has a forecast in a few moments. Kyle Wilcher made 5 3-pointers and scored 29 as number 2 seed Gonzaga beat 3rd seed BYU 88-84 last night to advance to the Bulldogs' 19th straight West Coast Conference Tournament Championship game. They'll play top-seeded St. Mary's tonight for the title. Pregame at 5:40, tip-off at 6. Gonzaga has lost to St. Mary's both times they've played them this season. If Gonzaga wins tonight, they'll automatically be entered into the NCAA tournament. If not, we'll have to wait for the selection process on Sunday. Yesterday, on a game heard during the middle of the day on iFIBER One News Radio, Wellington Castillo homered and drove in 5 runs, leading the Arizona Diamondbacks over Seattle 10-8 yesterday. Our next Mariners broadcast is tomorrow against Kansas City, pregame at 7. Seahawks have addressed one of their biggest questions before the start of free agency by agreeing to new terms on a deal with defensive tackle Ataba Rubin. The team confirmed that the agreement with Rubin, but the terms were not immediately available last night. Some folks are saying that it was a 3-year deal. And Carol, remember Ricardo Lockett and the neck injury he suffered last November against Dallas? Mm-hmm. Well, it was so serious that he could have died if not for proper treatment from athletic trainers and medics on the field. That's when we sat there for, it felt like 10 minutes watching him, lifeless body. Finally, he started to move around. Lockett spoke to a group of paramedics and firefighters in Redmond last week, and video of his speech at Fire Station 11 posted up on the Facebook. Lockett still wears a neck brace. 6:10 at iFIBER One News Radio. Checking the South Sounds forecast. Here's Carol Gardner.
Good morning. It's 33, foggy out there. It's going to be rainy today. Not as much as yesterday, but we will see some rain showers throughout the day. Tapers a little bit overnight, and then tomorrow it's going to be almost 2 inches of rain. That's the forecast right now. So be prepared for tomorrow. Right now it's 33.
Now, from the iFIBER One News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people, you. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor, your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
6:11 at iFIBER One News Radio, and a good morning to you. Tuesday here. It's the 8th of March, and we've got some great news notes to pass along from the Northwest. And good morning, Carol.
Good morning, Jeff.
It was a little cold during the overnight.
Yeah, I thought it was colder than normal.
I think you're right. No, I do. I feel like I looked at a thermometer yesterday, and it did seem chillier than normal. We're not in the we're not in the 30s anymore, though, are we?
Yeah, well, I mean, right now it's 33. So I was surprised that it was a little colder than I thought. But then again, I looked at my heating bill, and so maybe I had to turn down my thermometer, and I forgot.
That's how you can tell if it is colder.
Yeah.
You go,
Like,
wait a second. January must have been a little colder.
How did that happen?
Oh, that's so funny. All right, on iFiber1newsradio.com, we've got regional stories to pass along. First up, DOC.
Yeah, they're back in the news, which I guess this is sort of a good story, I guess. Governor Jay Inslee, has announced the appointment of an acting secretary to the State Department of Corrections, as well as a resignation, 2 demotions, and 2 reprimands of state employees related to the early release of prisoners over that 13-year period. So Dick Morgan will take over for the DOC director.
All right. More news on the way, including an update on the fire yesterday at the Squaxin Tribal Reservation.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
I'm Ari Wolf with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. All good things come to an end, and for Peyton Manning, that ending came Monday. A choked-up Peyton officially announced his retirement Monday and put a bow on one of the greatest careers with a farewell speech that we won't be forgetting anytime soon. The Sheriff rides off into the sunset after 18 remarkable years and 2 Super Bowl titles, saying, quote, "I finished my football race, and after 18 years, it's time." NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport reports the Titans will acquire the former NFL rushing champion from the Eagles, DeMarco Murray, in a trade. The terms of the deal have yet to be disclosed. Murray altered his contract to accommodate the trade, but he did not lose his $21 million in guaranteed money, per Rappaport. News of Murray's trade comes on the same day the Eagles traded linebacker Kiko Alonso and cornerback Byron Maxwell to the Dolphins. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
QL1, does Rocket Mortgage require me to fill out a bunch of paperwork?
Negative control. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is the first on-demand mortgage machine that quickly imports your financial data. You can go through the entire mortgage approval process in minutes.
That is fast, like rocket fast.
It also works on any internet-ready device, so you can get a Rocket Mortgage at any time or place you choose. Over.
3, 2, 1.
Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage.
Rocket.
Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLS Consumer Access.org, number 3030.
Last night, Cheryl Loggy made her status. Any moms out there know a good stroller for twins? Help! It got 10 likes and 8 comments. Geico also has a comment, Cheryl. While we don't know which stroller you should go with, we do know that in as little as 15 minutes, you could save hundreds of dollars on your car insurance just by switching to Geico. And with that money, you can buy the swankiest of rides for your tiny duo to cruise around in. Right on down to Potty Training Town. Hashtag twins, hashtag savings.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
From the iFIBER One News Radio studios, you're listening to Daybreak.
.6:15 at iFIBER One News Radio. Good morning to you. I'm Jeff Slakey along with Carol Gardner. iFiber1newsradio.com is our website for the radio station. And on that site, we have regional news to pass along. And if we hadn't just finished a Department of Corrections story, people were aghast that people were let out early.
Yeah.
And it's very tragic. There were some deaths resulting in it.
Mm-hmm.
Another story about corrections I would say, is in the news.
Right. An audit by the Washington officials have revealed many people in the country jails are receiving unemployment benefits that they're ineligible for. A report Monday by the state auditor's office said the state audit scrutinized 8 county jails. So I guess it's still jails, but it's more of a county issue versus the state issue. And they identified almost 2,000 potential overpayments worth about $656,000, and this was just in the last half of 2014. And there's 57 county jails in the state. So when you're in jail, you're not eligible for certain government benefits. And see, the problem is the report says an agency providing the benefits has to know a person is even incarcerated to stop paying.
Sure.
But the unemployment security division doesn't have that ability.
They don't talk to each other?
Well, they don't. Yeah, I guess they don't know that they can access confidential jail records. So they're going to have to, start talking
I'm thinking
to each
about
other.
this, and on one side, somebody's saying, obviously, if you're in jail, you can't look for a job.
Right.
Because you're indisposed at the moment. But what you're saying makes total sense.
Yeah.
What's to stop them, the folks in jail, from using their phone call? They call. They
Right.
just, instead of calling their family or their lawyer, they call the automated unemployment. Have you looked for a job today? Beep.
Or they just do it online because they do have access for.
Are there
for
computers
online.
and stuff
Well,
in
for
the county jails?
Actually, I'm not sure about county, but
But at least they have the phones.
Yeah.
And you call in once a week. Huh. That's so. Once again, they are not talking to each other.
Yes.
These government agencies.
That's what it sounds like.
It's 6:18 right now. The end of the legislative session is supposed to be showing up here on Thursday. The governor is saying that he is going to veto some bills if they don't get the supplemental budgets ready to go. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what he said. Unless they get that supplemental budget, he's going to start vetoing some bills because he has 35 bills that have passed the legislature that are waiting his signature. And there's many more that are supposed to go to his desk. So bills that are delivered to Inslee more than 5 days before the legislature adjourns have 5 days to be acted on. But if they're less than 5 days, then they have 20 days to be acted on, which I'm not quite sure. And if there's no action, then they just become law anyways. But Inslee said he's going to veto these bills if they don't get that supplemental budget done.
We'll talk to Dan Griffey today at 7:15, 35th District Representative in the first position. Dan Griffey will call in today, and Drew McEwen tomorrow, and then it'll be Thursday.
Yeah.
And so we'll see what happens early Thursday morning, see if we can get a bead on what's going on there. Another story under the regional tab is an interesting development. But literally a development that's happening perhaps in the West Olympia area between the Mud Bay area and where they're looking at new off-ramps on the 101 kind of near the Kaiser Road. There's some big swaths of wooded land that also include
Is the Capital Medical Center inside that area?
No, it's
just outside of
it's
it.
just on the other side of the road.
But that's the area that it's
Yeah, so
near.
if you're following along on the 101 and you're passing under Delphi Road and then Kaiser Road, if you're heading towards Olympia, you look to the left and you see an RV park. This is all part of that, and then kind of an abandoned Quest building. It's a very large area that the city is looking to develop in, and 135 acres is how big it is. You can see more and learn about this at a workshop tomorrow at 6
tonight. Or wait, is today only Tuesday?
Excellent. Sorry.
I thought
Breaking
today was
news.
Wednesday. Oh my gosh, that's so funny how you do that.
It is only Tuesday, and so it's tomorrow night at 6:30 at Marshall Middle School Library. We've got that story on the website. But regardless, if you live in this area, depending on what they put here, it will impact the traffic
Yeah.
for sure on 101. 6:20 at iFIBER ONE News Radio. Take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more news to pass along on Daybreak.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
This is a good time to subscribe to the Journal. Most importantly, you get a great local newspaper. We were voted the best mid-sized weekly newspaper in the state, which helps you stay connected to your community. And then there is the fact that subscription rates remain low while individual paper prices are increasing for 2016. You can save as much as $40 this year with your subscription. Quality, convenience, and low price. The Journal gives you all that every week. Call 426-4412 or go to masoncounty.com.
Habitat for Humanity of Mason County invites you to shop their local retail stores in Belfair and in Shelton. At Habitat for Humanity stores, you'll find amazing bargains on discounted home improvement supplies, gently used furniture, and so much more. And when you shop Habitat for Humanity, your dollars are put to work helping to improve, build, and maintain affordable housing right here in Mason County. Habitat for Humanity. Let's build a strong community together.
The ocean waves roll in, hypnotic, continuous, and perched high above rests the oldest family-owned resort on Washington's coast, Ocean Crest Resort. Picturesque, friendly, comfortable. Ocean Crest has served as the perfect ocean hideaway for over 60 years. With unsurpassed ocean views, warm fireplaces, full kitchens, swimming pool, hot tub, and spa. Ocean Crest Resort offers you total and unrivaled relaxation. Frommer's Guide reports you simply won't find a more spectacular setting anywhere on the Washington coast. And Ocean Crest's enchanting restaurant is listed as one of Washington's 13 ultimate restaurants you must visit before you die. See for yourself with our special 3-for-2 package. For a limited time, stay 2 nights and get a 3rd night free. Call 800-684-8439, 800-684-8439, or visit oceancrestresort.com. Ocean Crest Resort, making memories since 1953. In Mo Clips, overlooking the Pacific Ocean.
From the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, you're listening to Daybreak.
No, right now.
6:23 here at iFIBER ONE News Radio. Good morning to you. Jeff Slakey along with Carol Gardner for Daybreak.
Good morning.
Mary Lynn Foster has the latest in local news in a few moments. We heard the passing of Nancy Reagan and played some information about her yesterday for us. They have added some new information when it comes to her funeral services that will be well attended. Alex Stone has more this morning.
The funeral will go on rain or shine under a giant tent outside the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library on Friday. 1,000 guests, including heads of state and former presidents, are being invited. But before the funeral,
we are allowing the public to come up in 2 separate days at 2 separate times to come up to the library to pay their respects to Mrs. Reagan while she lay in repose here at the Reagan Library.
Melissa Giller with the Reagan Foundation says that will happen tomorrow and Thursday. After Friday's funeral, Mrs. Reagan will be buried next to her husband. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
I was reading a story about where they got married in Hollywood. It's in California somewhere, but in Hollywood. And it's a tiny little hole in the wall. You would almost think of it like a Las Vegas wedding chapel. 125 people.
Chapel of the Bells or
something like that.
The Love
just
Chapel.
a tiny little thing. But people, once they found out that Ronnie and Nancy got married there, it has become a destination. And so people still, like 23,000 some odd weddings have been taking place there since they've gotten married. And people that live in Japan, they have got their deal. And so they come over and they get married at this thing. And then there is a special package honeymoon, takes them to Disneyland. So it's all kind of part of the thing. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
You know, when you see, I mean, he's the president of the United States. It's his wife. They were the president's first lady for 8 years. Huge folks in history. To find out that they, oh yeah, just that little wedding chapel down the road or something. I like it when you can personalize that kind of stuff. Pretty cool.
Well, I think they got married before they were even in politics.
I think, yeah, when they were still in doing the Hollywood stuff.
Yeah, they were acting.
They were tight. Those two. They were tight. 6:25 at iFIBER ONE News Radio. Good morning to you. Bob Dylan fan, Carol? Yes or no?
I I don't know if I would call myself a
Are you
fan.
more of a fan of Dylan or that impersonation of Dylan?
More of
Hey,
Dylan.
we're going down the road.
Don't quit your day job.
He has announced dates Bob Dylan has. If he needs a fill-in, he can call the station.
Dylan needs a fill-in.
Dylan needs a fill-in. Summer tour. Fallen Angels is his new album. Well, he's going to kick the whole thing off just in Woodinville. At the Chateau Saint Michel Winery. He's going to be there June 4th and June 5th. He'll then travel down to Eugene and then make some time down in California before heading out throughout the rest of the country. So Bob Dylan still touring, and the summer tours will undoubtedly get more and more information throughout the as the weather gets nicer, because that's the thing. You go for your summer tours. The other big story is that the Dancing with the Stars cast was revealed, and Stephanie and I have been watching Fuller House on Netflix, which is the reboot or continuation
And
of
you
Full
like
House.
it.
I do like it.
That's so funny.
Very much.
You watched the original.
Yeah. So one of the questions was it just as cheesy as the original? And yeah, probably. But you just didn't know because it was 20 years ago, 25 years ago. But the whole cast is back except for Michelle, the twins, the Olsen twins. And
how old did they get on the show? I mean, when I remembered, I just remember them being babies, but were they actually walking and talking? I mean, how long did the show run?
How rude.
Oh, okay.
You
that's
got it,
right.
dude. You know, the catchphrase.
Yeah, that's right. Now I sort of remember.
But they have gotten up pretty old. I want to say near 10 on the show. It was a long show. Anywho, Stephanie Tanner is going to be on there. They were talking about that. Jodie Sweetin is her name. She is going to be on. Some of the other folks, Marla Maples, Miss Donald Trump, former Miss Donald Trump.
Interesting.
Misha Barton, who got her start on the Fox show, The OC. Antonio Brown. Doug Flutie, famous NFL quarterback.
Exactly.
One of the guys from our Boys to Men, Wayna Morris. MMA star Paige Van Zandt. Von Miller, who is one of the big defenders for the Broncos. He's always got a really sharp suit, and he's got thousands of pairs of glasses. Von Miller.
And is he still playing?
Yeah. He was. He got the MVP last year.
Right. So my question is, don't they have some kind of contract that says they can't do something that could injure them off season?
Probably. I mean, what's his face?
I wonder how you negotiate that one.
Big Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
He got in trouble for riding his motorcycle without a helmet. I'm sure it's in the contract. They had to do a rider. Who else is going to be on
I bet Geraldo Rivera was already on there and got booed off already. Wasn't he already on there at one point?
I mean, if you're thinking conservative personalities, Tom the Hammer DeLay.
No. I thought Geraldo was on there. That's funny, but can he dance? I don't know. He can throw chairs. I don't know if he can dance.
Kim Fields, who was Tootie in The Facts of Life.
That's, how funny.
Ginger Z on Good Morning America. As we mentioned, Jodie Sweetin. And then Nye DeMarco, who is a model.
So how do they decide who gets who for a partner? Do they hope, or do they just draw out of the hat, or do the real
I'm sure
dancers?
the agents have something to do with this. Because, the longer the folks are on the show, the more they get paid. If you
get paid to be on the show?
Oh, yeah.
You think you'd have to just...
I don't know how they get chosen to be on these shows.
Interesting.
They have probably an open call for B and C list celebrities.
My mom and a few of my sisters love it. I've just never really watched it.
If you like dance shows,
yeah.
Daybreak
I don't have the time.
ONE Newsradio.
So busy.
Watch it every night.
Such a busy.
Is your family doing some growing? Whether it's an expansion of your home or the addition of a new family car, Peninsula Credit Union can provide fast, friendly service with terrific rates. We offer personal lines of credit, affordable auto loans, and a variety of home loan options to get you moving. Visit our offices in Shelton, Belfair, Paulsbo, Port Orchard, and Port Townsend, or go online to pcfcu.org. At Peninsula Credit Union, our priority is you.
From the iFIBER ONE Newsradio studios, I'm Mary Lynn Foster. A state-of-the-art Sierra Pacific Industries sawmill could be running in early 2017. Lisa Perry, community relations representative for Sierra Pacific, says they think that it's going to be one of the highest tech mills in the nation. Using laser technology to size up and to cut logs, the mill is to produce wooden boards used in construction. The goal is to produce 500 million board feet of studs a year. The mill is to be tooled and to produce 2x4s, 2x6s, and 4x4 studs. The Sierra Pacific Mill is to replace the Simpson Timber Company's Shelton plant, which was closed last year, leaving some 270 workers jobless. A house on the Squaxin Island Tribe Reservation was destroyed by fire yesterday morning. Mason County Fire District 4 Chief Bob Burbridge said district firefighters responded to the blaze after receiving a call about 6:30 a.m. They believe the fire started around 4 a.m. Firefighters were able to save vehicles outside the home along with boats and fishing equipment. Mason County Fire Marshal Mike Patty said the cause of the fire was a heating device which was too close to a bed that ignited. He called the fire accidental. No one was injured. Director Lynn Longan from Mason County's Economic Development Council told Daybreak about a new opportunity for Mason County businesses.
The Edward Lowe Foundation has an economic gardening program. It's a nationwide. They're just starting. Washington State, is just starting a pilot program, and Mason County is one of the first counties to actually participate in that pilot program. We're also using some of the funds that were in the appropriations that Senator Sheldon put into our appropriations for us. We're using some of those funds to take, Jennifer and I are getting certified, and then we have enough money to put at least 5 businesses through this economic gardening program. And then the state of Washington Department of Commerce, Brian Bonlander is the director. He approached me last week and says, I want you to get me at least 5 more businesses that we will help pay for. So we could have potentially up to 10 businesses in Mason County.
Lynn says the businesses that will be considered for this program are established businesses that are ready for growth but need assistance in things like exporting, marketing, or research to get to the next level. Longan says the concept of economic gardening is to grow your own local economy by nurturing entrepreneurs. Longan and Jennifer Beria from the EDC will take part in a training and certification coming next month for economic gardening. Hear more about this in the full interview on the Daybreak page at iFIBER1newsradio.com. For iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Mary Lynn Foster.
Everybody, Dave Packer reporting on sports. Looking to shake off an ugly loss to the Lakers, Steph Curry and the Warriors held history in their hands Monday night.
On the way, he got it! Curry for about 29 feet, and that's number 300.
Tim Roy on KNBR as Curry scored 41 points, becoming the first player to sink 300 threes in a season. The Warriors beat the Magic, earning a league record 45th straight win at home. Coming into Cleveland, down 4 starters, the Grizzlies beat the odds on the road.
Irving, they get it to him. He steps into a top-of-the-arc 3. No good! Grizzlies win it tonight in Cleveland as they pull off an incredible road win against the top team in the Eastern Conference.
The call on WMFS as a banged-up Memphis squad prevailed, beating the Cavs 106-103. LeBron moved into 13th place on the NBA scoring list. Pau Gasol's triple-double carried the Bulls over the Bucks. Pacers topped the Spurs, and Hornets, Clippers, and Pelicans were all winners. A flurry of activity in the NFL as teams begin wheeling and dealing. DeMarco Murray's representatives have confirmed reports that the Tennessee Titans are finalizing a trade for the Philadelphia Eagles running back. Murray had a rocky tenure in Philly, frustrated over his role in an offense under former coach Chip Kelly. ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter says this is just one of the latest moves in a purge of Kelly ties.
We've seen the Eagles essentially agree to deals that will send DeMarco Murray to Tennessee, Byron Maxwell and Kiko Alonso to Miami, and Philadelphia may not be done moving and shaking just yet.
The trade is expected to be completed Wednesday when the new league year begins. Other notable moves, the RG3 era in Washington has come to an end. The Redskins released the 2012 Offensive Rookie of the Year. Safety Deshaun Goldson was also let go by the team. And 7-time Pro Bowl Logan Mankins has called it quits. And Nike is putting a pause on its relationship with tennis star Maria Sharapova after she admitted to failing a drug test. Dave Packer, ABC Sports.
It's about your life and your money. It's the Dave Ramsey Show.
You don't win by accident.
So this is your year to win. You don't get out of debt. You don't save your marriage by accident. You don't increase the quality of your marriage by accident. You don't raise great kids accidentally. These are intentional acts that you make choices on the variables in your environment, and you form and control your life.
The Dave Ramsey Show, weekdays from noon to 3 on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
Now, from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Jeff Slakey.
Yeah, good morning to you. It is 6:36 at iFIBER ONE News Radio. I'm Jeff Slakey on Daybreak. Carol Gardner's got a forecast coming up, a little cloudy. Kyle Wiltshire made 5 threes and scored 29, and number 2 seed Gonzaga beat 3rd seed BYU 88-84 last night to advance to the Bulldogs' 19th straight West Coast Conference Tournament Championship game. 19th straight WCC Tournament Championship game. Pretty darn good. Gonzaga plays number 1 seed St. Mary's tonight for the title. Pre-game at 5:40, tip-off at 6. Gonzaga has lost to St. Mary's both times they've played them this season. If Gonzaga wins, they'll automatically be entered into the NCAA tournament. If not, we'll have to wait for the selection process coming up on Sunday. Wellington Castillo homered and drove in 5 runs, leading the Diamondbacks over Seattle yesterday, 10-8 on a game heard here on iFIBER ONE News Radio. Our next Mariners broadcast is tomorrow against Kansas City. Pre-game at 7, and the game gets underway at 7:10. Finally, Seahawks wide receiver Ricardo Lockett says the neck injury he suffered last November against Dallas was so serious that he could have died if not for proper treatment from athletic trainers and medics on the field. Lockett spoke to a group of paramedics and firefighters in Redmond last week. Video from Fire Station 11 up there posted on Facebook. In the video, Lockett is still wearing a neck brace. And if you remember back, Carol, before we get to the weather, I wrap this thing up, that game against Dallas where he was hit hard and just laying on the floor on the field for minutes, motionless, scary times for everybody involved. And finally, I mean, they were not talking a lot. And that's not a good sign when the announcer crews, they're not saying a lot. You just don't know what's happening. And eventually, start to see a little movement in the fingers. Thank goodness. Thank goodness for whatever. They got him. He could have died that day. Yeah, I was reading on Reddit that only one player has died in the middle of a game.
Oh.
And they kept the game going. The crowd made no noise the rest of the time.
Wow.
I don't understand why they keep the game going.
Yeah, that is...
It was like in the 40s or something.
Wow, back in the old days.
6:39 at iFIBER ONE News Radio. Carol Gardner has a check at the weather.
It's 33 and overcast. There will be rain throughout the day today and overnight. Tomorrow, though, it looks like there's going to be quite a bit of rain, almost 2 inches. So obviously there'll be some flood watches. Today's high will be 48, and right now it's 33.
Now, from the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You, from business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
Good morning to you, Daybreak. Thank you for joining us here on Tuesday, March 8th at 6:40. Dan Griffey, 35th District Representative, will be coming in at 7:15 as we've just a few days left here in the legislative session. And we're hearing some notes from the governor saying, guys better get some stuff done, get this supplemental budget thing figured out, or we'll start vetoing bills here before we get too long into it. 7:45 today, the Traveler 5K Run and Walk is going to be happening on April 23rd, and it's going to have live music, local vendors, art, food, beverages, and a 5K run walk. It is at the Point at the Alderbrook Golf and Yacht Club, And it's all part of Hood Canal events. We're kind of in those traveler days, and that'll be a lot of fun. So we'll talk to Jeff and Carrie about that at 7:45. Today is National Pancake Day, so we have invited Ron Pinnell and gang in to talk about that big metal pancake maker that they cart out to Neyland Park for those annual summer visits of Shelton's. I mean, they call it Shelton's class reunion, and everybody comes into town. It's very busy. You can start your morning with free breakfast at IHOP in celebration of National Pancake Day. Free pancakes across the country. This tradition now 10 years old. Between 7A, which is in just 20 minutes, and 7P, get a short stack of buttermilk pancakes. In return, IHOP is just asking that you donate to the Children's Miracle Network Hospital or other local charities. And in 10 years, they've raised about $20 million for this.
So one free short stack. Do you think they're all like just microwaved and then thrown out there?
No,
you think they're
it's legit.
You think they're grilled right there?
It's exactly how they would do it any other day.
But
I would think so. Why? I mean,
if they're expecting huge crowds, they got to get them in and get them out.
Well, that's why they need this big pancake maker that we have here in Shelton. You just put them all in there, it spins around, they're all done. Why would they give away a lesser quality product on a day where more people, potentially new people, have never been in there?
Do you go to IHOP?
No. But if I were to go on a day that was offering a chance to help out some local charities, and I felt that it was kind of more a disservice, I wouldn't go back.
Well, I wouldn't either.
I don't know how many is in a short stack, probably 3.
It's hard to say.
Regardless, it's delicious.
I always think of the silver dollar pancakes. I used to love those when I was a kid.
Tiny, just a bunch of those.
Yeah.
Folks that are able to make art out of their pancakes.
Oh, that's incredible, isn't it?
I had thought about trying that for Kaiser, to do just like a Mickey Mouse one. So you get it in you put a little smear of the batter, you wait a little bit, and that cooks, and then you put more of the batter on top of it for a less tan cook.
Yeah. Or maybe you could color your batter.
You could do that too.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
Taylor Shellfish is a proud sponsor of the Environmentally Sound program. For 5 generations, the Taylor family's been stewards of a healthy and prosperous Puget Sound. In partnership with nature, Taylor Shellfish brings you the freshest, most sustainable shellfish you'll ever eat. Visit their store at 136 Southeast Lynch Road. Open daily from 10 to 6. And they're online at TaylorShellfishFarms.com.
Mason County Garbage and Recycling on Johns Prairie here in Shelton is pleased to offer safe and efficient removal services. Mason County Garbage and Recycling is always mindful of environmental standards and is continuously striving for the highest excellence. Mason County Garbage and Recycling, upholding your trust within the community. Questions? Call 426-8729. In Belfair, 275-4590.
Being a good steward of the forest on your land starts with solid planning. Hi, I'm Jody Henke. Develop a detailed management plan that is tailored for your goals now and into the future as you're living the country life.
Living the country life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic and from previous shows by visiting us online at livingthecountrylife.com. We'll return to the show after these messages.
He's done 3 tours and now he's saving his dad's farm. Do you know a farmer veteran like that? We're inviting you to share their story. Successful Farming Magazine and Grasshopper Mowers are teaming up to acknowledge and thank farmer veterans for their service. This new initiative is called From Fighter to Farmer. Enter any veteran farmers you know in our contest at agriculture.com/fighter to farmer. Explain the veteran's military experience and farming operation, along with the involvement they have in your community. 3 veterans will receive a combination prize package of $5,000 and a vacation to Nashville. One lucky winner will also receive a $10,000 gift certificate to spend at Grasshopper Mowers. No purchase necessary. Open to legal residents of the 48 contiguous United States and D.C. 13 years and older. Begins February 1st, 2016 and ends April 30th, 2016. Subject to official rules at agriculture.com/fighter-to-farmer rules. Void in Alaska, Hawaii, and where prohibited. Sponsored Meredith Corporation. From Fighter to Farmer is brought to you by Grasshopper Mowers. Enter any veteran farmer you know in our contest at agriculture.com/fighter-to-farmer.
People own forested land for many reasons, including income from the wood, recreational purposes, and aesthetics. You can't afford to ignore the value of this asset, so a well-prepared forest management plan will help you meet your goals now and into the future. Earl Garber is the president of the National Association of Conservation Districts. He says to start your plan by conferring with local conservation and forestry professionals for their assessment and technical assistance. The management practices you develop will depend on your objectives as well as the age and condition of the stand.
Is the stand ready for a thinning? Is the stand mature, or is it at the stage where you go in and remove a percentage of the trees? One of the other things you have to look at is what's the invasive species condition of your forest? Are there some species of trees that you need to remove that are competing with the one that you'd like to harvest for income in the future?
Garber says a good management plan includes both short-term and long-term goals.
When you're talking about a pine forest, you may be talking about a 30 to 35-year plan before the trees are mature. You do a clean cut and start over. When you get to hardwood, depending where you're located, it could be anywhere from 50 to 100-year plan to manage that hardwood with incremental harvesting and control of species that you don't want. So if there's any part of the natural resources long-term planning, it's forestry.
Your plan doesn't have to be a long, complicated document, but it should be considered work in progress. Create a timeline of specific tasks and revisit your plan every 5 years or so. Having your knowledge and intentions written out makes it easier to pass on to the next generation. Learn more about starting a forest management plan at livingthecountrylife.com. I'll see you in the country.
Living the country life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic, share your tips, and post photos by visiting us online.
From the iFIBER ONE Newsradio studios, you're listening to Daybreak.
647 at iFIBER ONE News Radio, and a good morning to you. I'm Jeff Slakey. We have a Republican debate coming up Thursday live from Miami as they're on the heels of another cycle today. There are some states going on today. Who are those states, Carol?
Let's see, for Democrats, Michigan and Mississippi, that's 188 delegates. That's quite a bit. And for Republicans, Michigan, Mississippi, Idaho, and Hawaii. And Michigan is important to Trump and Kasich. Kasich could allegedly rekindle his chances with a strong showing there if he wins there and Ohio next week.
Sure, he's starting to bubble up a little, get a couple more looks here and there.
Some other news, Michael Bloomberg, probably heard already, he's not going to be seeking an independent run at all. Probably heard that on the ABC
I did
News.
hear that yesterday.
Yeah, so he says he doesn't want to do it because he's worried that it might help Trump.
Wow.
So, there you go on that one. Right now, Trump is, of course, ahead at 384 delegates.
648 here at iFIBER ONE News Radio. We will continue to focus heavily on the political sphere throughout the rest of this year. Not many months. Somebody said the other day, in 9 months, and 9 months from now is, 9, we're going to have a whole new president. 6 months from now will be, 6 plus 3 is 9, and the 9th of September. So 2 months away from voting.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's going to go so fast. Sherry Preston has Your Voice, Your Vote.
Your voice, your your vote. 4 more states are up for grabs today in the Republican race to the White House. Polls show Donald Trump has a lead in all of them. ABC's Tom Yamas is on the campaign trail in Jackson, Mississippi.
Republican voters voting in 4 states today, all over the map, from Hawaii to Michigan to Mississippi to Idaho. 150 delegates up for grabs today. Donald Trump hoping to grab as many as he can, campaigning late in Mississippi last night to a huge crowd, thousands inside a packed gymnasium, and then even more outside on a football field. And though Trump was in Mississippi, he was also trying to get votes in Idaho, saying that he loves Idaho potatoes, even putting that out on Twitter. Tom Yamas, ABC News, Jackson, Mississippi.
Donald Trump defending a gesture he makes at his rallies in which he raises his right hand in a salute, some compare to what the Nazis used to do. He says the accusations are ridiculous, and he tells ABC this morning he is not happy about being compared to Hitler. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Yeah, Louis C.K. put out a email to his followers on their website talking about Trump, and he alluded to him as Hitler. And I saw that photo, well, the video leading up to the photo. You can't just look at the picture, but the photo leading up to it where he does have the crowd raises their right hands to say, I promise that I'll vote for you. It's kind of an eerie shot regardless. 6:49 at iFIBER ONE News Radio, and moving locally, politically.
There are some bills obviously still coming through. Legislature is moving towards starting a traditional 521 college savings plan for Washington while reopening the old prepaid program that's been frozen since last year. The House and the Senate approved a bill that would set up this plan, and they're working out the differences between the two versions. The main difference is the House wants the measure spelled out. The guaranteed education tuition program will not go away, and it sets a 2017 deadline for reopening that GET program.
Right.
So the sponsors don't expect any trouble getting the House version approved by the Senate, and they hope to make it the governor's desk by the end of the week. So, it's not one of those bills that get vetoed.
Well, just because it gets to his desk by the end of the week, will it be signed?
Don't know.
We have a story that will come just after the Old Farmer's Almanac on just that thing, signing. I'll sign these things if ... Paraphrase.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
March Weather Lore isn't all about lions and lambs. A look at some of the month's other weather wisdom today from the Old Farmer's Almanac. With more practical tips and useful advice, this is the Old Farmer's Almanac radio report for Tuesday, March 8th. It is the 68th day of the year, and pop vocalist Mickey Dolenz has a birthday. March Weather Lore isn't all about lions and lambs. There's a wealth of other proverbs that you can put to the test this month. Here's a few. So many mists in March you see, so many frosts in May will be. Thunder in March is said to bring a fruitful yet sorrowful year. And here's one with a proven scientific basis. A year of snow, a year of plenty. Lingering snow delays the blossoming of fruit trees until the threat of frost is past. It also minimizes thaw-frost-freeze cycles harmful to winter grains. Oh, and about those lions and lambs, we revisit those at the end of the month. That is the Old Farmer's Almanac radio report. Find more weather lore online at almanac.com.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
.653 at iFIBER ONE News Radio on Facebook, facebook.com/1030KMAS. Also on the Twitter at iFIBER ONE Radio. Excuse me. And on our website, iFIBER1newsradio.com. We have a CNBC Business Radio report coming up in a couple of moments here. We continue March as National Nutrition Month this Thursday, 7:45. Throughout the month of March on Thursdays, we have lined up conversations about nutrition health. And this Thursday, we'll talk a little bit more about personal stories regarding to nutrition, like why you would reach for this and not that. Why do certain things taste better in your brain and stuff like that. So we'll come up with some ways, hopefully all of us together will come up with some ways to beat the nutrition. Like last night, Girl Scout cookies are
Let me back up a step. I saw on Facebook a friend of mine had posted a photo about like a bag of apples.
Mm-hmm.
And a bag of apples at the place they went to was like $5, $6, $7 or something like that. And then you look at other things that you could get for $5, $6, $7,
Mm-hmm.
processed, packaged food, and you can get a whole lot more. And that is an option. That is what people choose often because it's more convenient. You get more bang for your buck, stuff like that. Oh man.
Well, yeah, I totally agree with you. And though the mindset of what you got in that bag of apples is far probably superior to what you would get in that other bag.
Oh, yeah.
But our mindset thinks it's not.
It's not. There is something lesser. Oh, I have to eat an apple
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. So hopefully we can come up with some ways to look. So last night, as I said, Girl Scout season is in session. So I'm sitting there.
Girl Scout cookie season.
Girl Scout cookie season is in session. And so I'm sitting there and I got my box of.
What's your fave?
Well, I mean, it doesn't even matter because I just wolf them all down. We bought a box of tag-alongs, which are the peanut butter ones.
Mm-hmm.
And they come in 3 rows. And there's like 5 or 6 in each row.
There's more than 5 or 6 in each row.
I don't know. However, it feels like it's just that many. And I will sit there and I will eat at least a row in one sitting. And so Stephanie looks, she goes, any more of those tag-alongs? I go, I thought you weren't going to have any of those. So I ate them all. And then I just find myself and then where do you stop?
So are you doing something while you're eating?
No, I'm just sitting there. No.
You're not watching TV?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're eating mindlessly.
Nothing.
I'm
standing in front of the freezer, probably freezer door open, just mindlessly for whatever reason. So we'll come up with some thoughts on why we do this, what happens to our brains Thursday. Next Thursday, Jeannie Raywalt comes in. We're going to talk about nutrition in the schools.
Yeah.
The week after that, Terry Shaw's coming in, along with a representative from Senior Services, to talk about the nutrition given at the Senior Center. The final week, we're going to flip the script and we're going to talk about pet nutrition. What are you feeding? If you feed table scraps, because Kaiser throws his table scraps on the floor now all the time, so we have to be cognizant of certain foods the dogs even can't eat, perhaps.
You need like a net around them.
Yeah, I sure do. So it's going to be great conversations for the month of March on National Nutrition Month. It's International National Pancake Day. And at 8:15, Ron Pinnell and the gang will be in. And you hear them as we get ready for the annual Shelton's class reunion down at Neyland Park. They bring out the old pancake maker. And so we're just going to learn about the pancake maker. It'll be a fun interview in honor of National Pancake Day. 6:57 now. CNBC has a business radio report for us. ABC News at the top of the hour. Mary Lynn Foster after that at 7:04. We'll continue on. Gonzaga plays tonight in the WCC tournament. We've got the game for you. Mariners tomorrow on iFIBER One.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
I'm Stephanie Shelton, CNBC Radio. Stocks are sharply lower. The Dow's down 93, Nasdaq's down 26, S&P 500 down 13. And all of that is because traders are again worried about China's growth after its exports fell the most since May of 2009. It's always jaw-dropping when compensation numbers come out for top company CEOs, and IBM is no exception. IBM says its CEO, Ginny Rometty, was paid in total $19.8 million, a little more than in 2014. That includes stock options, of course. Shake Shack down 7% after lackluster guidance for the coming year. Shares of Urban Outfitters getting a boost, the retailer boosting earnings and revenue that topped estimates, and shares are up 12%. Small business confidence fell last month on concerns about sales growth and profits, and that hurts capital spending and hiring. Stephanie Shelton, CNBC Radio.
Spend $24 right now at Napa, and you can get a free Napa Chase Elliott racing cap. Buy $24 of oil, get a free cap. Buy $24 of headlamps, get a free cap. Buy $24 worth of Pine Tree scented air fresheners. Well, we won't ask you why you need $24 worth of air fresheners. We'll just hand you a free Napa Chase Elliott racing cap. That's Napa know-how. at participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 3/31/16.
I'm all about keeping it simple. Been getting the same haircut from the same guy for 20 years. You can't beat simple. That's why the first place I turn to when I need something is Grainger. I don't want one place for my safety products and another for my abrasives. Grainger has over 1.2 million products and the solutions I need to help keep this place running. Grainger. Simple. Simple. Grainger. Get it? Got it? Good. Call clickgrainger.com or stop by. Grainger. For the ones who get it done.
Dave Ramsey helps you handle your money. Weekdays from noon to 3 on iFIBER ONE News Radio. AM 1030, FM 1033, KMAS Shelton.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Karen Chase. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are the favorites heading into today's primary races in 4 states. Michigan has the most delegates at stake. Clinton is increasingly focusing her attacks on Trump.
We will not let a person like that ever become president of the United States.
Clinton stumped in Detroit last night. Trump is calling comparisons to Hitler terrible. He says accusations that his gesture of raising his hand is similar to the Nazi salute are ridiculous.
I don't know about the Hitler comparison. I hadn't heard that, but it's a terrible comparison. I'm not happy about that, certainly. I don't want that comparison. But, we have to be strong and we have to be vigilant, and people agree with that.
He says attacks from those in his own party aren't working. Maria Sharapova's future is unclear after admitting she failed a drug test for a substance that was banned just this year.
I made a huge mistake, and I've let my fans down. I've let the sport down that I've been playing since the age of 4 that I love so deeply.
She says she's been taking it for years to increase blood flow.
I was given this medicine by my doctor for several health issues that I was having back in 2006.
But already Nike, Tag Heuer, and now Porsche have dropped her as sponsors. No punishment from tennis officials yet. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, but you might not want to get it at Starbucks today. It's recalling its sausage, egg, and cheese sandwiches due to possible listeria contamination. No illnesses have been reported yet. It was an extra tough commute for drivers in Dubai, where they spotted an escaped tiger prowling on a major highway. It was safely recaptured. The wealthy often keep big cats as status symbols. Doug Flutie and Geraldo Rivera say they plan to rely heavily on tequila and Bengay as they compete on this season's Dancing with the Stars. Also in the cast this season, Theo sees Misha Barton and Super Bowl MVP Von Miller. This is ABC News.
Here's a special message for those of you who owe the IRS at least $10,000 or more in back taxes. The IRS has special programs in place that could eliminate or reduce your tax debt by thousands of dollars. With a call to National Tax Helpline, you can stop the wage garnishments, levies, and tax liens now. Once you've qualified and enrolled, the IRS will stop all the collection activities against you. These unique programs have been allocated to help the economy and significantly reduce or eliminate your tax burden. The IRS is currently accepting reduced settlements and other favorable programs. You may qualify for substantial savings, so get the help you need. If you owe the IRS $10,000 or more, call now for free information and to see if you qualify. Take down the number now for the Tax Helpline, 800-705-2931. That's 800-705-2931 for free information. 800-705-2931. That's 800-705-2931.
She's a fighter. That's what her mom says about the 14-year-old girl recovering from a gunshot wound from a Kalamazoo, Michigan shooting rampage. ABC's Ryan Burrow has the latest.
According to family members, via a GoFundMe page, 14-year-old Abigail Koff will be moved from a hospital to a rehab facility. Koff survived a mass shooting in the parking lot of a Cracker Barrel restaurant. Her grandmother and 3 other women were killed. During Sunday's Democratic debate on CNN, Abigail's father, Gene, gave an update on her condition before asking a question about stopping mass shootings.
She's now laughing and giggling, but she has a long road of physical recovery.
An update on the other survivor of the shooting rampage is expected Tuesday. Ryan Burrow, ABC News, Detroit.
Hulk Hogan says he was completely humiliated when a friend posted a video of him having intimate relations with the wife of a former best friend. Hogan is back on the stand in St. Petersburg, Florida at this hour for more testimony in his $100 million privacy lawsuit against Gawker. Karen Chase, ABC News.
Local news brought to you by the Lucky Eagle Casino. Visit online at luckyeagle.com.
From the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, I'm Mary Lynn Foster. A state-of-the-art Sierra Pacific Industries sawmill could be running in early 2017. Lisa Perry, community relations representative for Sierra Pacific, says they think that it's going to be one of the highest tech mills in the nation. Using laser technology to size up and to cut logs, the mill is to produce wooden boards used in construction. The goal is to produce 500 million board feet of studs a year. The mill is to be tooled and to produce 2x4s, 2x6s, and 4x4 studs. The Sierra Pacific Mill is to replace the Simpson Timber Company's Shelton plant, which was closed last year, leaving some 270 workers jobless. A house on the Squaxin Island Tribe Reservation was destroyed by fire yesterday morning. Mason County Fire District 4 Chief Bob Burbridge said district firefighters responded to the blaze after receiving a call about 6:30 a.m. They believe the fire started around 4 a.m. Firefighters were able to save vehicles outside the home along with boats and fishing equipment. Mason County Fire Marshal Mike Patty said the cause of the fire was a heating device which was too close to a bed that ignited. He called the fire accidental. No one was injured. Director Lynn Longan from Mason County's Economic Development Council told Daybreak about a new opportunity for Mason County businesses.
The Edward Lowe Foundation has an economic gardening program. It's a nationwide. They're just starting. Washington State, is just starting a pilot program, and Mason County is one of the first counties to actually participate in that pilot program. We're also using some of the funds that were in the appropriations that Senator Sheldon put into our appropriations for us. We're using some of those funds to take, Jennifer and I are getting certified, and then we have enough money to put at least 5 businesses through this economic gardening program. And then the State of Washington Department of Commerce, Brian Bonlander is the director. He approached me last week and says, I want you to get me at least 5 more businesses that we will help pay for. So we could have potentially up to 10 businesses in Mason County.
Lynn says the businesses that will be considered for this program are established businesses that are ready for growth but need assistance in things like exporting, marketing, or research to get to the next level. Longan says the concept of economic gardening is to grow your own local economy by nurturing entrepreneurs. Longan and Jennifer Beria from the EDC will take part in a training and certification coming next month for economic gardening. Hear more about this in the full interview on the Daybreak page at iFIBER1newsradio.com. For iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Marilyn Foster.
The calendar has moved to March. Weather is starting to get better. Days are getting longer. March 20th, the first day of spring. And with spring, attention turns to America's pastime, baseball. Seattle Mariners baseball. iFIBER One News Radio is your home for Seattle Mariners baseball all season long. You can listen on AM 1030 or FM 103.3. The South Sound home for Mariners baseball this season is iFIBER One News Radio, AM 1030 and FM 103.3.
Hi, I'm Ken Slater, the Roof Doctor. If you're like me, your family's important, so make sure that they're well taken care of. One of the best ways to do that is to provide a safe and warm home to live in. For over 50 years, the Roof Doctor has been helping families stay safe and warm by building roofs that last for generations. Our teams have some of the most experienced roofers in the area, and we only use the highest quality materials to keep your family safe, warm, and dry. That's the Roof Doctor. Give us a call.
Now, from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Jeff Slakey.
Good morning to you. 7:08 at iFIBER One News Radio, AM 1030 and FM 103.3. Also streaming online, iFIBER1newsradio.com. We had the Mariners and Gonzaga on yesterday, Carol. Carol will have a forecast in a few moments. So we're going to start the day with the first broadcast that we had. That was with the Mariners. Wellington Castillo homered and drove in 5 runs. Diamondbacks over Seattle 10-8. Our next Mariners broadcast is tomorrow against Kansas City, and the pregame will be at 7 in the evening. Moving now to Gonzaga basketball last night on iFIBER One News Radio. Kyle Wilcher made 5 threes and scored 29 as number 2 seed Gonzaga beat 3rd seeded BYU 88-84 last night to advance to the Bulldogs' 19th straight West Coast Conference Tournament championship game. Gonzaga will play top seed St. Mary's tonight. Pregame at 5:40, tip at 6. Gonzaga has lost to St. Mary's both times they've played them this season. If Gonzaga wins tonight, they'll automatically be entered into the NCAA tournament as WCC victors. If not, well, we'll just wait for Sunday, for Super Selection Sunday, for our March Madness tournament brackets. And finally, Seahawks wide receiver Ricardo Lockett says that neck injury he suffered last November against Dallas was so serious that he could have died if not for proper treatment from athletic trainers and medics on the field at that moment. He spoke to a bunch of paramedics and firefighters in Redmond at Fire Station 11 in Redmond. The video of that speech was then posted on Facebook, still wearing a neck brace. 7:10 at iFIBER One News Radio, moving to the South Sounds forecast. Bringing Carol Gardner. I mean, you're here. You've been here. You're watching. You know that she's here the whole time.
I am right here.
We'll bring you in, though, for a conversation.
Thank you. It's 33 overcast. Expect some possible rain throughout the day. Expect some possible rain. Tomorrow, though, definitely expect some rain. It's going to be almost 2 inches tomorrow. So obviously there's going to be some flood watches and etc. But right now it's 33.
It's like saying it's a strong maybe.
Now, from the iFIBER One News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You, from business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
Well, just looking at some of those rain totals for the rest of the week. Yesterday, you said about 2 inches of rain, and that really hasn't even changed for Wednesday's forecast. Just a little less than that.
Mm-hmm.
Looking like if you add everything up, maybe 4 inches between now and Monday.
That's what it looks like.
Wow.
Definitely.
And half of it is all just tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
35th District Representative Dan Griffey going to be coming in studio with us here in about 4 minutes on iFIBER One News Radio, and the session likely to end Thursday here, the 10th. 7:45. There's a new 5K run walk that's going to be happening April 23rd. It's called the Traveler 5K Run and Walk, and we'll be talking with Jeff and Carrie about that. Ron Pinnell and gang in for National Pancake Day, because I want to learn more and talk about that big, beautiful pancake machine.
You're making me hungry.
I know.
I didn't have my usual
thought about
breakfast.
this beforehand. It is Pancake Day. Free pancakes at IHOP from 7A to 7P. There's one on the west side of Olympia right there.
There you go.
Cooper Point, Black Lake interchange. 7:12 here at iFIBER One News Radio. And Governor Jay Inslee has named an acting secretary to the State Department of Corrections. Yesterday, the governor also announced a resignation, 2 demotions, and 2 reprimands of state employees related to that erroneous early release case of prisoners over a 13-year period. And now, as we learn more about the folks who were let out early, 2 deaths have been tied to the cases of early release. 7:13 now, and Dan Griffey's coming up next here on iFIBER One News Radio.
Listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
Choosing the right tax preparer. I'm ABC's Chief Business and Economics Correspondent Rebecca Jarvis with today's tax tip. The IRS says more than half of all taxpayers hand over personal information and documents to a professional to file their return. So they say choose your preparer wisely. Kiplinger's Kevin McCormley agrees.
Anybody can claim they're a tax preparer.
How do you find the right one?
It's so difficult. The government does not regulate tax preparers.
But they have to register with an IRS preparer tax identification number in order to file your return. So check to make sure they have one. The IRS also recommends avoiding preparers who base their fee on a percentage of your refund, or those who say they can get larger refunds than others. McCormley adds word of mouth and credentials work as well.
A lot of people go to an H-Star Block or Jackson Hewitt, and some of those people are terrific, and some of them are not that good. You know, a lot of it depends on the luck of the draw when you go in an office. Now, if you've used somebody in the past who you like, that's the person to go to.
With today's tax tip, Rebecca Jarvis, ABC News.
Wittenberg CPA is a professional accounting, tax, and financial consulting firm serving the diverse needs of their businesses and individual clients. They bring excellence and integrity to every aspect of their work, from accounting software support like QuickBooks to tax preparation for individual and business needs, as well as personal, financial, and estate planning services. Wittenberg CPA has the services you or your business needs this year for taxes. Find them online at wittenbergcpa.com or call 426-0230. That's 426-0230.
The calendar has moved to March. Weather is starting to get better. Days are getting longer. March 20th, the first day of spring. And with spring, attention turns to America's pastime, baseball. Seattle Mariners baseball. iFIBER ONE News Radio is your home for Seattle Mariners baseball all season long. You can listen on AM 1030 or FM 1033. The South Sound home for Mariners baseball this season is iFIBER ONE News Radio, AM 1030 and FM 1033.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio, KMAS.
7:15 on a Tuesday morning. It's the 8th of March, and we are happy to have in studio, as we normally do, Tuesdays at this time during the legislative session, 35th District Representative Dan Griffey. Morning, Dan.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Morning.
Nice to see you. Nice to talk with you here at 7:15. Governor Jay Inslee has threatened to veto lawmakers' bills unless they get the supplemental budget to him by Thursday, which is the last day of the 60-day session. We know that. News conference, he said that so far 35 bills have passed the legislature waiting for his signature, and many more expected to head on up there before the 10th. But he says the veto threat is needed to prod action. You have the floor, sir. Your response to
That's ridiculous. There's very good policy for Washington State that needs to be considered and needs to be signed into law by the governor. And for him to take this ridiculous action is just an idle threat. If he doesn't pass some of this stuff in the legislation, it's going to be things like breakfast after the bell, and so yeah, it's going to be a little ridiculous for him to threaten to veto those good pieces of legislation. The deal is just let the process work through. Both sides are going to play hardball up until the end, and we're going to come up with a budget. And we're not going to go into prolonged special session. If we go into special session, I still have high confidence that we will not go into special session. So I think the former governor used to put everybody into a room and wouldn't let them out until they agreed upon something. I think that is kind of a better management style, and the governor needs to be looking at those kind of directions instead of these kind of idle threats. When we go into budget negotiations, the governor is in the room for about 5 to 10 minutes and said, "You guys got this thing?" And they said, "Yep." And so then he walks out. It's not an active manager.
I can see that actually happening in my mind's eye.
Yeah, so he's not an active manager in the process. And I think we need that from the governor. So my message to the governor is show a little more leadership and a little less threats, and I think we'll get it done.
So if we were to put everybody in a room, would we really put everybody or just the leaders of the two parties on the two sides?
Couldn't put it. I mean, it would be a mistake to put all of us in the room, but put the assigned negotiators in the room. I think we're going to get a briefing this morning. Yesterday, they didn't have a high confidence that we were getting very close to a solution. So I still have high hopes.
Now, are some of these bills, could they be considered necessary to implement the supplemental budget? I mean, could he be getting around it by saying that for some of these? Or this seems like yay or nay on this stuff?
One of them, quite frankly, is that I'm very passionate about is a new level of eye screening for kids in school that identifies dissociative tracking disorder. One of them I suffered from. I literally couldn't catch a football or a baseball because the dissociative, my eyes couldn't track one thing at one time. And I went through the eye therapy. It was actually picked up by my school teacher at the time, for lack of a better term, diagnosed me.
Sure.
And that's the kind of, that it doesn't cost anything, nothing. That's the kind of legislation that wouldn't get the policy that wouldn't happen if he follows through with his threat.
What are some of the other things that you guys have been looking at this week as the Senate's bills are making themselves as known?
Well, we're working on what we call the concurrence calendar right now. It's a bill that passed out with a huge support out of the House, went over to the Senate, and they tweaked it. Maybe the drafters didn't catch a word or a phrase. They bring it back over. We take the committee. The chair and ranking member and the sponsor of the bill, and they get this kind of purple form, and they say, do you concur or do you not like what the Senate did? And that's a very simple process. If those people concur, it's brought to the House floor. I move that it passes. Somebody from the minority party stands up and says, I second that. And then it goes right to a vote. So it's bang, 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 really quick moving. So we're getting down to the wire, though. However, having enough time to draft a budget, we're going to have to come up with a solution to the impasse pretty soon. So stand by.
It was.
Oh, I was just curious. So if everything does go as planned, what happens Friday, the day after?
What happens Friday? I sleep for 2 weeks straight. Although, no, I can't say that because I got to go to work on Saturday. But I would like to sleep. My wife is holding really secretively, I think, a surprise vacation. She just...
Wow.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Yes.
So really, when it's done, it's done.
Cricket's
It's done.
at the Capitol.
Well, it's not only done. I've been working really hard on what my interim plan is going to be. I want to start... I want to continue the discussion on my sexual assault stuff. I want to continue the discussion on. I'm bringing some legislators down from the Seattle area to tour Mason County and rural Thurston County with me so that I can show them some of the difficulties that the rural communities face with GMA. I want to have our elected officials. I talked to Terry Jeffries yesterday. I'll talk to the rest of the county commissioners. I want them in the discussion. Lynn Longan, I'll have her there. I had a good discussion with Terry and Lynn yesterday about that. And, I just want to showcase what could be broken here, what minor tweaks could happen. So no, it's not really done.
It's always ongoing.
I'm meeting with Tammy Newton on Friday about homelessness issues and where we can work. I did put a capital budget request in, and I hope we get our capital budget request for the Veterans Homeless Shelter in Shelton, which would be really neat.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that happens. But rest of the week is going to be long and short.
I bet.
It's going to go, they'll go long evenings typically, and they'll go so fast our head spins.
We are looking forward to, we'll talk off the air about your schedule, but we'd like to have a recap after the session, whenever that happens.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be a great idea. My assistant's working on a packet. I was going to read a little bit off of this, but I got to tell you, it is way too small. So I'm going to make sure that we have larger print, and we can have a discussion about the things that went on, some of the good policy, maybe some of the bad policy that, from my perspective, that happened this year. And I would love to.
Great. So we'll tentatively say a week from today, but it's all up in the air.
Sure.
Awesome. All right, Dan, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Head to Olympia and go forth and prosper, as they say.
Live long and prosper.
7:23 right now. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, more news of note to pass along from the South Sound.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
Peninsula Credit Union presents PHIL. PHIL stands for Peninsula Home Improvement Loan. Designed to help you get things done around the house, PHIL can help you a little or a lot. This is not a second mortgage. With a Peninsula Home Improvement Loan, you can get 7.24% APR on a 60-month loan or 7.49% APR for 120 months. From replacing the roof to new flooring and everything home-related in between, take advantage of a Peninsula Home Improvement Loan, and PHIL will help you get the job done.
Call Peninsula Credit Union today. 800-426-1601. That's 800-426-1601. Or apply online at pcfcu.org. OAC. See representatives for details. Limited time offer. Additional terms and conditions may apply. Annual percentage rate is effective as of June 11, 2014. Loan amounts from $500 to $15,000. Terms available from 60 months up to 120 months. For payment examples, call 800-426-1601.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
Mary Lynn Foster has the latest in local news in just about 5 minutes. Good morning to you. I'm Jeff Slakey along with Carol Gardner here on Daybreak. Additionally, under the news tab, our politics page has contact information for all of our representatives here in the 35th District. The links to their websites that are put on in the legislature and information to the bills that they have sponsored, co-sponsored, and helped to push through.
Also on our local news page on iFIBER1newsradio.com, we have a story about Taylor Shellfish is the first in state to be certified for responsible aquaculture.
First in the country. Give it up.
All right.
Just the state.
All right. First in state certified, I guess. I don't know. So anyways, it's the first U.S. grower to achieve responsible aquacultural certifications for a farming operation in Washington State. All right, so I reread that.
Very nice.
And so we have this story on our website, and it distinguishes Taylor Shellfish as an innovator in the seafood market, and it's proof of their strong commitment to responsible farming and good social practices. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, congratulations to them.
Congratulations.
It is 7:26 at iFIBER1newsradio.com. Oh, here's an interesting. I was looking at video. So Britney Spears is 2 years in Las Vegas. She has a show there every night at the Planet Hollywood. She puts on a show. And at the beginning of this, people were dogging her hard, saying, oh, this is she sounds terrible. There's just not much action. Well, in the 2 years since, she has really put on an I guess it's now an amazing stage show. Celine just came back after the death of her husband and brother in the same week. And Billy Idol now set to kick off his first ever Las Vegas residency next week. Veteran punk star added some new Vegas performances. His schedule's over the summer, and it's going to be at the Mandalay Bay at the House of Blues. So Billy Idol Forever is another thing that you can head down to Las Vegas and go see.
Billy Idol, he was back in my day. So yeah. He's one of those comebacks.
Rebel Yell, White Wedding, Dancing with Myself. He was a big time Billy Idol. Remember, what was he in Wedding Singer? Wedding Singer with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. At the end, Adam sings the song over the plane's speakers. Either Billy Idol or somebody who looks much like him was on there. That's pretty funny. So anyways, that's the new place where people go. They set up these residencies.
Yeah, it is interesting how they do that.
I guess Wayne Newton's been doing it forever, but
well, Elton John was there for quite a long time also.
Great place to go. I mean, they're going to be there.
Yeah. They're going to be there.
It's better than having to go to a tour stop or they're not going to stop here.
And then you just live there for 2 years, and then you got your guests that just keep on coming. I mean, who doesn't go to Las Vegas?
Who doesn't? Indeed, Carol. That's exactly right. Here's a story for you coming out of Tacoma. Officials say a kindergarten teacher there fired over an alcohol-related offense last month. Teacher there, hired by the district in 2008, fired last week after an investigation. District spokesperson says termination because it appeared she had alcohol in a beverage container in class.
Wow.
The Trib reports a last chance agreement had been in place between the district and the teacher here due to previous alcohol-related incidents, including one most recently in 2011. The teacher, Clara Bowman, has plans to appeal the firing decision. Alcohol in the beverage container in class.
That's pretty amazing. Another amazing story is the Coast Guard boat rescue released a harbor seal pup in the Puget Sound after 4 months of rehabilitation. So it's pretty cool that they do that. The 1-year-old seal was rescued in West Seattle by the Progressive Animal Welfare Society in December. They say it was found stranded and near death. And there was a little clip on Twitter that showed the little pup seal coming. They opened up the little gate for his cage out on the Sound, and he looks out and he's looking around and wasn't quite sure what's going on. And then he finally, slithers on down and
Do you
gets
think they
out.
know what's happening when they're released?
I
see birds, they bring them, they take off those eye blinders that they have, and then the birds are sitting on their arms, and they take off their eye blinders, and they kind of sit there for a second, and people are free, you're free.
Yeah.
And then they fly away. I mean, do they realize that something happened or there was a change, or did they just go back? Like the salmon went back to the Elwha.
Yeah.
Does the animal brain kick over in overdrive?
If I had the answer to that, Jeff, I'd be the
like-
gazillionaire.
Well, you'd be like the
animal
dog whisperer.
I'd be the animal whisperer.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
Local news is brought to you by Shelton Health and Rehabilitation Center. Find them online at sheltonhealthandrehab.com.
From the iFIBER One News Radio studios, I'm Mary Lynn Foster. A state-of-the-art Sierra Pacific Industries sawmill could be running in early 2017. Lisa Perry, community relations representative for Sierra Pacific, says they think that it's going to be one of the highest tech mills in the nation. Using laser technology to size up and to cut logs, the mill is to produce wooden boards used in construction. The goal is to produce 500 million board feet of studs a year. The mill is to be tooled and to produce 2x4s, 2x6s, and 4x4 studs. The Sierra Pacific Mill is to replace the Simpson Timber Company's Shelton plant, which was closed last year, leaving some 270 workers jobless. A house on the Squaxin Island Tribe Reservation was destroyed by fire yesterday morning. Mason County Fire District 4 Chief Bob Burbridge said district firefighters responded to the blaze after receiving a call about 6:30 a.m. They believe the fire started around 4 a.m. Firefighters were able to save vehicles outside the home along with boats and fishing equipment. Mason County Fire Marshal Mike Patty said the cause of the fire was a heating device which was too close to a bed that ignited. He called the fire accidental. No one was injured. Director Lynn Longan from Mason County's Economic Development Council told Daybreak about a new opportunity for Mason County businesses.
The Edward Lowe Foundation has an economic gardening program. It's a nationwide. They're just starting. Washington State, is just starting a pilot program, and Mason County is one of the first counties to actually participate in that pilot program. We're also using some of the funds that were in the appropriations that Senator Sheldon put into our appropriations for us. We're using some of those funds to take, Jennifer and I are getting certified, and then we have enough money to put at least 5 businesses through this economic gardening program. And then the State of Washington Department of Commerce, Brian Bonlander is the director. He approached me last week and says, I want you to get me at least 5 more businesses that we will help pay for. So we could have potentially up to 10 businesses in Mason County.
Lynn says the businesses that will be considered for this program are established businesses that are ready for growth but need assistance in things like exporting, marketing, or research to get to the next level. Longan says the concept of economic gardening is to grow your own local economy by nurturing entrepreneurs. Longan and Jennifer Beria from the EDC will take part in a training and certification coming next month for economic gardening. Hear more about this in the full interview on the Daybreak page at iFIBER1newsradio.com. For iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Mary Lynn Foster.
This is Doug Samples from Whitney Chevrolet. We're going to save you money. Montesano has one of the lowest sales tax rates in the state. Plus, our costs are way less than other dealers. And right now, we're offering up to 90 days with no payments on any new or used vehicles with proof of your tax refund. They all come with lifetime oil changes to boot. Stop by and visit WhitneyChev.com to check out our inventory.
A $150 negotiable document fee may be added to the price of all vehicles.
Worth the drive to Whitney's, just down the road to Whitney's.
The Tom Hartman Show, live 9 to noon, weekdays on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
Eventually, something is going to break through all the lies and all the hundreds of millions of dollars that Koch Industries and ExxonMobil and others have spent funding climate change deniers. Eventually, it's going to break through, and people are going to realize that for the last 40 years, they've been lied to by very wealthy people who are lying to us and allowing people to die just so they can protect their wealth. Not even protect their existing wealth, just so they can make more wealth.
Everybody, Dave Packer reporting on sports. Looking to shake off an ugly loss to the Lakers, Steph Curry and the Warriors held history in their hands Monday night.
On the way, he got it! Curry for about 29 feet, and that's number 300.
Tim Roy on KNBR as Curry scored 41 points, becoming the first player to sink 300 threes in a season. The Warriors beat the Magic, earning a league record 45th straight win at home. Coming into Cleveland, down 4 starters, the Grizzlies beat the odds on the road.
Irving, they get it to him. He steps into a top-of-the-arc three. No good! Grizzlies win it tonight in Cleveland as they pull off an incredible road win against the top team in the Eastern Conference.
The call on WMFS as a banged-up Memphis squad prevailed, beating the Cavs 106-103. LeBron moved into 13th place on the NBA scoring list. Pau Gasol's triple-double carried the Bulls over the Bucks. Pacers topped the Spurs, and Hornets, Clippers, and Pelicans were all winners. A flurry of activity in the NFL as teams begin wheeling and dealing. DeMarco Murray's representatives have confirmed reports that the Tennessee Titans are finalizing a trade for the Philadelphia Eagles running back. Murray had a rocky tenure in Philly, frustrated over his role in an offense under former coach Chip Kelly. ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter says this is just one of the latest moves in a purge of Kelly ties.
We've seen the Eagles essentially agree to deals that will send DeMarco Murray to Tennessee, Byron Maxwell and Kiko Alonso to Miami, and Philadelphia may not be done moving and shaking just yet.
The trade is expected to be completed Wednesday when the new league year begins. Other notable moves, the RG3 era in Washington has come to an end. The Redskins released the 2012 Offensive Rookie of the Year. Safety Deshaun Goldson was also let go by the team. And 7-time Pro Bowl Logan Mankins has called it quits. And Nike is putting a pause on its relationship with tennis star Maria Sharapova after she admitted to failing a drug test. Dave Packer, ABC Sports.
Now, from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Jeff Slakey.
.736 iFIBER ONE News Radio. Good morning to you. AM 1030 and FM 103.3. Also streaming online at iFIBER1Newsradio.com. Taking a look at some sports news for you. Yesterday, we had the Mariners on in the middle of the day, and Wellington Castillo homered and drove in 5 runs, leading the Diamondbacks over the Mariners 10-8 yesterday. Our next Mariners broadcast is tomorrow against Kansas City, pregame at 7 in the evening. Kyle Wilcher made 5 threes and scored 29. Number 2 seed Gonzaga beat 3rd seed BYU 88-84 last night to advance to the Bulldogs' 19th straight West Coast Conference Tournament Championship game. Gonzaga plays St. Mary's tonight, pregame at 5:40, tip at 6. If Gonzaga wins tonight, they'll automatically be entered into the NCAA tournament. If not, we'll have to wait for the selection process, which comes our way on Sunday. Seahawks have addressed one of their biggest questions before the start of free agency by agreeing to terms on a new deal with the defensive tackle Ataba Rubin. The team confirmed the agreement with Rubin, but the terms were not immediately available at press time. Fox Sports reports, though, 3-year deal. And Seahawks wide receiver Ricardo Lockett says the neck injury he suffered last November against Dallas was so serious that he could have died if not for proper treatment from athletic trainers and medics on the field. Lockett spoke to a group of paramedics and firefighters in Redmond last week. Video of his speech went viral. In the video, Lockett is seen still wearing a neck brace. 7:38 right now, and moving to the South Sounds forecast. Here's Carol Gardner.
Good morning. Scattered clouds today. It's 33 right now. There will be some rain throughout the rest of the day. Not too much. We're only going to see maybe less than around a quarter inch. But tomorrow, be prepared. They are forecasting for almost 2 inches of rain. The highs today and tomorrow will be right in the mid to upper 40s.
A lot of rain.
A lot of rain, and still a little cooler than what I want. Right now, it's 34.
I want 80.
Now, from the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor, your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
Well, good morning to you. Coming up in just a few moments, we're going to learn more about the Traveler 5K Run Walk that's coming up on April 23 at the Point at the Alderbrook Golf and Yacht Club. It is a Tuesday morning, and I'm Jeff Slakey along with Carol Gardner. Good morning to you, Carol.
Good morning to you, Jeff. It's Tuesday. You're right. I thought it was Wednesday. I don't know. My is off
already.
Yeah.
It's just the second day of the week, and you're already
I'm just ahead of it. I know. It's crazy.
It's been exactly 2 years since Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 went missing. ABC's Andy Fields tell us some families now are suing to figure out what happened.
There are just two suspected pieces of the Malaysian Airlines missing Boeing 777 that washed ashore. Former air traffic controller Des Ross thinks aviation officials made big mistakes.
If the normal protocols had been followed during that first few hours after the disappearance, I believe that we would not be looking for the aircraft today.
The airlines paid millions in damages, assuming all the passengers died. Andy Field, ABC News.
Still just a tragic and amazing story. And I know we hear notes of people finding things, right, that have been lost for the time, for the centuries. But it's hard to believe that in the year... So I was watching old video, President Obama, in some of his stump speeches in 2008. It was a conversation about him and Hillary back then in that race. And to see how the crowds were back then, everybody had their flip phones or their Motorola Razors, or I even saw, strange thing in the crowd, actual cameras. So just from 2008 to how the candidates are being photographed in 2016, it is so hard to imagine that even in the vast expanse of the ocean, which is way deeper than we'll ever know, that they had a hard time finding this thing.
Well, that they haven't really found it yet. I mean, there's two unconfirmed pieces of
Yeah, they don't even
debris.
know
if these pieces are not from Malaysia flight, what flight is missing these pieces?
Right. I mean, well, there's debris, I think, just floating around all over the place.
There is.
I mean, I'm guessing there must be. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm guessing like that boat that they found. You had mentioned the other day, there was some boat that was floating around that they finally found. And some person, unfortunately, was on it that was found dead on it. I mean, that was, there's just stuff all over the place that we don't realize. I mean, I was watching the Pickers the other day, and somebody had buried an old Indian motorcycler in their backyard back like in 1940 or 50 or whatever it was.
You mean they dug a hole in the ground and put it in there?
Yes. And it was a rumor from like his grandpa. And so then they decided to see if it was true. They found out it was in there. So there's stuff like everywhere. But you're right. Why can we not figure out what happened to this airplane? Is it just to keep us mystified and somebody actually does know where it's at?
I mean, it's a tragedy, to be sure, for the families who still have unanswered questions.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
If you care about what's going on around here, subscribe to the Shelton Mason County Journal. You will learn something useful about your neighborhood, upcoming events, your community, and coworkers. Laugh at the comics, cry with the obituaries, learn about local concerts, games, and new businesses. Being informed is worth it in so many ways. Subscribe today. Call 360-426-4412 or visit masoncounty.com. Check out the Journal's garage sales, too. Try it. You'll love it.
The board-certified women's specialists at Mountain View Women's Health are committed to excellence in care for women of all ages and in all stages of life. Board-certified obstetrician gynecologist Dr. Alfred Vassell Jr. and Dr. Mercedes Goebel and physician assistant Carly Jacobs offers a full range of women's services. They coordinate their care with other specialties at Mason General Hospital, including the birth center and diagnostic imaging department, for a seamless continuity of patient-centered care. To make an appointment, call Mountain View Women's Health at 426-0955.
Mountain View Women's Health is part of Mason General Hospital and a family of clinics. Equal opportunity provider. Translation services provided.
Mason General
and family of clinics.
Mornings start with Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio. Join Jeff and Carol weekdays from 6 to 9 on AM 1030 and FM 1033, KMAS Shelton.
Hi guys, Kat here with iFIBER ONE News Radio. What if I told you that radio advertising is far more effective than print media? Think about all of your customers driving to work, appointments, or events, all the while listening to the radio. Imagine your commercial airs on iFIBER ONE News Radio and the customer decides, hey, I'm right by there. I'm going to go check it out. Radio captures you and literally speaks to you and your customers several times a day. This enables you to build a unique message that reminds your customers what you have to offer. Remember, your customers can either drive to you or through you. And here at iFIBER ONE News Radio, we want to direct customers to you. Being the only talk radio formatted station in the entire South Sound region, we have an entire new market for your business to advertise in. As your sales lady, I take pride in providing your business with the best advertising because I want your business to succeed. So call me today at 360-463-2558 and ask for Kat.
iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 1033 presents Daybreak.
7:45 on a Tuesday morning. It's the 8th of March. Good morning to you. I'm Jeff Slinky along with Carol Gardner on Daybreak. Hi, Carol.
Hello.
We have in studio great guests to talk about an upcoming 5K. It's Jeff and Carrie. Good morning, Jeff and Carrie.
Morning, guys.
Thanks for having us.
From Hood Canal Events and hoodcanalevents.com, the Traveler 5K Run Walk. That must mean it's almost Traveler Days around these parts, too.
It's getting close, yeah.
So that's when we see the apparition of how the snow melts on Mount Washington. And so we hope that the Traveler is still here, but there's lots of snow in the mountains now. But last year he was gone.
Yeah, last year I remember not seeing the Traveler.
Yeah, it was pretty dry last year for the snowpack. And
but currently it looks like it could be there.
We looked up there yesterday. There's quite a bit of snow up there.
Plenty of snow. Your website, Hood Canal Events, has a lot of information. The 5K Run Walk is on the 23rd, and we'll, of course, get more details on that. But how did you get started with all this stuff, Hood Canal Events? There's a lot of things to do in the Hood Canal area.
There are, I think.
Well, local resident of more than 30 years. I started with owning Robin Hood Restaurant for 11 years. So a lot of people put the face with Robin Hood, which was an enormous opportunity. As I started doing all of the food and everything there, I learned catering. And Bob and Suzanne Close out on Hood Canal have a beautiful estate. It's called Chateau Schaefer. And they were kind enough to offer me the opportunity to have the venue and have our catering services there and event planning. And then that was about 5 or 6 years ago. And that just opened up a whole other world of opportunity as the area started to grow with tourism. And then met Jeff 4 years ago, and he thought it would be incredible to add recreation to that side of the business. And we started that about a year ago, where we added kayaks. We have a short bus, and we take people out on adventures all over the Hood Canal area.
That sounds really very cool.
Yeah, local tours, do kayak trips, we do hiking trips, you name it. Our website's got a lot to show on that. So
it is hoodcanalevents.com.
Correct.
So 4 years ago, I mean, you noticed a lack in recreational activities, or I mean, you just said people could.
Well, at the restaurant, we just were getting busier and busier. I noticed more tourism. Alderbrook Resort was filling up their rooms on the shoulder seasons and non-weekend times, which was super helpful to all the other businesses. So we have Alderbrook Resort to thank as well. And then VRBO started to pop up, and we noticed just more of an influx of people coming to the area. And that's when I kind of perked up and started accepting more weddings, and events started to occur. And I just had always dreamed to have kind of a full service event planning company where we could handle the tourism that was coming into the area. So the moment you call us, we're going to say, where do you want to stay? What do you want to do? Where do you want to eat? Sort of thing. So
you're almost like a concierge service?
I've used that.
I mean, is that a bad term?
Concierge of Union.
There's so many good things going on the Hood Canal that we just saw an opportunity out there. We kind of wanted to be the doers out there. So contact us, and I mean, there's Hamma Oysters, there's Hardwood Distillery. I mean, there's so many cool things. We just wanted to be able to offer a service where people could call us and say, hey, let's go check out the Hood Canal Experience, the Pacific Northwest kind of thing.
So some of the events they would call you, you would tell them about, they would go do it by themselves. Some of them are led by you, like up a hike, Merhut Falls. You would take them up there, or you would just tell them how to get there?
Obviously, we'd love them to book with us. I mean, obviously would be the choice we would prefer, but we're happy to share that information. No,
right, but if
they hop on the bus.
idea is though you would take them up there and
we pack the lunch, so they'll call us and book either reserve now on our website. We were pretty smart to get that feature, so a lot of online people want to book now. Or you can call us, and we like to customize, and so you could have children, other family relatives from out of state, corporate, wedding clients, all the like could call, and some just out vacationing for the weekend can pick up the phone, stop by, or however they want to get a hold of us. And the idea is to get on the bus, put the kayaks on top of the bus. It's kind of like the Maui with surfboards, but it's more Pacific Northwest, and we have the kayaks, which Jeff built a really cool deck on top of this short bus that we have. And we get the passengers in. I pack the lunch, because I love food still. And off they go, and we stock the bar that's inside too, and beer and wine sort of thing, and hot cocoa or whatever, and get them up to a place like Merhut Falls. They would that's an easier hike, so we would gauge when you would call if you wanted a more challenging hike. We could do Mount Eleanor, so you'd have to really be in shape for something like that. But Merhut Falls is a really user-friendly, easy hike, but the end is the reward of seeing the beautiful waterfall. And when they get back on the bus, and typically we'll want to stop at Hama Oysters. They'll do if they haven't had oysters, it's even more fun. They'll do oyster shooters and grill them. And the guys there know us, see the bus. Oh, Hood Canal Events is here. And then we always like to finish by stopping at Hardware Distillery with Jan and Chuck, and they pair a bunch of different distilled vodka, gin.
So do you try to create a group atmosphere, or like two people can call? I mean, whatever you're trying to please. I mean, whoever calls, you're going to try to work it, right?
Exactly. Yep. We're pretty hungry for the business, so we've checked up there with two before. It's our hope to book the whole bus.
There's something magical about having just a group of people on the bus. You know, it reminds you of being young and having fun.
They will sing generally.
Really?
We have a lot of our music on the bus.
we've got a pretty good stereo system in there, so we pump some tunes, and it's pretty fun. So.
This looks like it's a lot of fun, and the Merhut Falls hike that you have on here on your website, again, hoodcanalevents.com, references winter hike. So it's a year-round thing that there are activities that you can provide to folks.
Yes, for sure. You wouldn't be able to visit Merhut Falls in the summer. It's best in the winter when all the rains and everything, but all summer long, all winter, fall, we try to come up with really cool, and it's best to eat oysters at this time of year. So it's perfect to stop by there instead of in July, but we craft it around everything around what's available in our area.
Right, and I mean, if we stayed inside all winter, there wouldn't be anything. So I mean, it's our Northwest. You know, get outside and get outside and enjoy what's going on. So.
One of the things that you have coming up, April 23, the Traveler 5K Run Walk. There's also live music, vendors, art, food, beverages at the point at the Alderbrook Golf and Yacht Club. So the Traveler 5K Run Walk. What more can you tell us about this event?
Well, we're pretty excited to have our community really embrace this event that we put together. We crafted and designed the logo around the Traveler, which is on the face of Mount Washington. And so if you're a real local, and my father told me 30 years ago and pointed out to me the Traveler. So I remember having him show me that, and it meant a lot to me. I didn't think anybody else knew about the Traveler. It was just something between my dad and me. But all of the locals, I think we're getting some buy-in on the Traveler, so it seemed really appropriate to have an event to celebrate what Union is about in our community, and we have up to almost 20 different vendors right now supporting the event. So when you arrive, you can come in, hear live music, and visit all of these great vendors like Hardware Distillery, Junebug Yoga, I think is there, Shelton Chiropractic.
Hood Canal Communications, Alderbrook Resort. So we've got a few buy-ins. So we're really trying to give the Union community an identity. We're going to brand it around the Traveler. That's where we're going. Also, on another note, proceeds are going to Kirk and Friends and K-Dog Clothing, which is a local charitable foundation.
Oh,
they
great.
do philanthropic work in the Hood Canal community, and Kirk Endicott is the designer of all the T-shirts. So he has Down syndromes, and he's got he's designed all our T-shirts for that, and some of the proceeds are going to go to that.
Oh, very nice.
And then there's another. So it's not just a competitive run. We can do a team environment. There's also walking participants. Craziest costumes. I mean, you name it, it's just going to be a good time. And then a festival live band afterwards, and beer and wine and that whole thing.
So 5K is what, 3 miles?
3.1. 3.1, yeah.
So that's not too bad. And what is the route going to be? I know that if you go, if you follow the water, there's not a big circle you can go around, really.
We're literally right up at the Aldeburgh Golf Course community. So we're going to be going along Country Club Drive, skipping over Manzanita, Vine Maple, back over Manzanita and down through, and ending back at The Point is the new kind of venue area dog park across from the clubhouse. It's a 2.5 acre piece of property. And literally your backdrop is the Olympic Mountains and Hood Canal.
High bank up there.
Yeah.
You're not going to go down the big hill.
No. It's just some gentle rolling hills, and
I
then
thought about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think I'm going to do that.
It's a big high bank view. You can see the Olympics and the Traveler and the entire Hood Canal region. So
That's going to be
really beautiful.
A big event. Register now, and it's just $29. This early registration ends on the 1st of April, and then people can start picking up their packets that weekend of the 22nd, and it is the 23rd, Saturday at 10 o'clock. It will also obviously impact traffic in those areas. We'll make sure people are aware of that too. But you can be and get part of the Traveler 5K Run Walk, April 23. You can register on the website.
Yes.
HoodCanalEvents.com.
Click register now. And like I said, April 1st is the deadline for 29. And and then our social, we're having the pre-packet social on the 22nd at the Cameo Boutique from 5 to 7 p.m.
And that's where our corporate headquarters, we're
Our
at
office
the
is there
Cameo.
too.
Oh, down at the Cameo? Great. That's a great price too for a run. And $29 is not a lot. I mean, some of these runs can be quite exorbitant.
You will, go ahead.
Yeah, you get a T-shirt and a beer out of it. Yeah, entrance and live music. It's gonna be a good time. We tried to price it so everybody would have a good time and afford to be.
Some of our sponsors are putting in little fun trinkets and stuff.
Sure. Oh, fun. So this will be a good event. The Traveler 5K Run Walk put on HoodCanalEvents.com. Jeff and Carrie are in the studio with us right now, and you can find out all the information you need at HoodCanalEvents.com. We'll share this on our Facebook page too.
Right. Perfect.
Awesome. Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you guys. We're happy to be here.
7:56. We're going to take a break here from the Old Farmer. When we come back, we'll start to wrap up the 7 o'clock hour, and more on the way here on Daybreak.
Listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
March Weather Lore isn't all about lions and lambs. A look at some of the month's other weather wisdom today from the Old Farmer's Almanac. With more practical tips and useful advice, this is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report for Tuesday, March 8th. It is the 68th day of the year, and pop vocalist Mickey Dolenz has a birthday. March Weather Lore isn't all about lions and lambs. There's a wealth of other proverbs that you can put to the test this month. Here's a few. So many mists in March you see, so many frosts in May will be. Thunder in March is said to bring a fruitful yet sorrowful year. And here's one with a proven scientific basis. A year of snow, a year of plenty. Lingering snow delays the blossoming of fruit trees until the threat of frost is past. It also minimizes thaw-frost-freeze cycles harmful to winter grains. Oh, and about those lions and lambs, we revisit those at the end of the month. That is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. Find more weather lore online at almanac.com.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
All right, good morning to you. Daybreak. Jeff Slakey, Carol Gardner, 7:58 at iFIBER ONE News Radio. National Pancake Day today. IHOP is giving out pancakes for free. Short stack between 7 and 7. Ron Pinnell and the gang behind that beautiful piece of machinery that brings you the pancake breakfast feed every summer in Neyland Park will be on the air with us at 8:15 to talk about that device. The Harry Potter author is launching a series called Magic in North America, Carol. This is a 4-part backstory for this fall's film adaptation of the Potter prequel, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Announcement on the Pottermore website. Magic in North America will run in installments today through Friday on Pottermore. According to the website, the new series will tell of the North American wizardry cool Livermore, and to bring to light the history of this previously unexplored corner of the wizarding world. Because in all those movies, Harry Potter movies, we never even knew if there were magician Americans.
I never even questioned. Did you have that question in your mind?
Well, no, I never thought of it. But we didn't ever have to deal with America.
That's right. I guess America was around.
Tom Hartman is live and waiting your call weekdays from 9 to noon on iFIBER ONE Newsradio, AM 1030, FM 1033, KMAS Shelton.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Karen Chase. Voters in Michigan, Mississippi, Idaho, and Hawaii make their voices heard today in presidential primaries and caucuses that could give Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton virtually insurmountable leads. More from ABC's Ryan Burrow.
During the week-long swing in Michigan, the candidates have been talking up jobs.
In a couple of years, you'll go home to your wife or you'll go home to your husband and say, darling, I have so many job opportunities. I'm going absolutely crazy. I don't know what's happening.
The auto industry.
He was against the auto bailout.
And trade.
Our trade policies have failed.
The other topics that have taken center stage here in Michigan include the continuing Flint water crisis and the Kalamazoo mass shooting that happened a couple weeks ago. Ryan Burrow, ABC News, Detroit.
Donald Trump doesn't like or agree with comparisons to Hitler, calling them terrible. The Better Business Bureau is holding a news conference today to clear up any confusion over its rating of Trump University. Trump has claimed it got an A, but the school has been sued. Hulk Hogan is now back on the stand, testifying in his $100 million lawsuit against Gawker for posting his sex tape. ABC's Lindsay Janice has Gawker's defense.
Gawker is arguing that there had already been news of a sex tape's existence in the headlines, and therefore it was justified in posting the tape because it was newsworthy and it was protected by the First Amendment. On cross-examination, Gawker also highlighting inconsistencies in Hogan's testimony, pointing to a deposition in which he said he was aware that there were cameras in Bubba's house, but Hogan countering and saying, I knew they were in the house, but I didn't know there was one in the bedroom.
Porsche has joined Nike and Tag Heuer in cutting ties with tennis star Maria Sharapova, who admitted she failed a drug test for a substance that was recently banned. She's apologized. Going to IKEA is not usually a big deal unless you're Kanye West and you're visiting the company's design division in Sweden. A spokesman confirms he'll be there, but when asked whether they were planning a joint project, he replied, "Time will tell." This is ABC News.
How do most people discover the blends of tea they like? Trial and error. But at Twinings of London, we believe in just trial. That's because we have 9 master blenders traveling the world to find the best teas, spices, and herbs for the perfect balance of taste, flavor, and aroma. With over 50 great tasting varieties, we wouldn't mind if you tried them all. Twinings of London. Teas that fit your every mood. Available at Fred Meyer, New Seasons, Safeway, or TwiningsUSA.com.
QL1, does Rocket Mortgage require me to fill out a bunch of paperwork? Negative control. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is the first on-demand mortgage machine that quickly imports your financial data. You can go through the entire mortgage approval process in minutes. That is fast, like rocket fast. It also works on any internet-ready device, so you can get a Rocket Mortgage at any time or place you choose. Over. 3, 2, 1. Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage.
Rocket.
Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS Consumer Access.org number 3030.
Police say a 13-year-old Florida girl did exactly the right thing when confronted with stranger danger. Her escape from the clutches of a kidnapper was caught on camera. ABC's Samantha Jordan reports.
Security video shows the man driving after the teenager in an SUV as she runs for her life.
I just knew my instincts just to run away and scream.
She tells police the suspect pulled up to her as she was walking home last week and grabbed her by the waist, trying to force her into his car, but she fought back.
That's when I guess he gave up and I just kept running. He ran back to his car.
And she ran to her aunt's house, terrified but safe.
She fought for her life and she beat him. And now all we have to do is catch him.
Samantha Jordan, ABC News.
Conventional wisdom tells us that people move to the burbs to buy a house, but a growing number of suburban residents are feeling more at home with renting. A new study finds the percentage has risen from 23 to 29% in the past decade. Researchers suspect the increased difficulty in getting a mortgage since the meltdown is part of the reason. Karen Chase, ABC News.
Local news brought to you by the Lucky Eagle Casino. Visit online at luckyeagle.com.
From the iFIBER ONE Newsradio studios, I'm Mary Lynn Foster. A state-of-the-art Sierra Pacific Industries sawmill could be running in early 2017. Lisa Perry, community relations representative for Sierra Pacific, says they think that it's going to be one of the highest tech mills in the nation. Using laser technology to size up and to cut logs, the mill is to produce wooden boards used in construction. The goal is to produce 500 million board feet of studs a year. The mill is to be tooled and to produce 2x4s, 2x6s, and 4x4 studs. The Sierra Pacific Mill is to replace the Simpson Timber Company's Shelton plant, which was closed last year, leaving some 270 workers jobless. A house on the Squaxin Island Tribe Reservation was destroyed by fire yesterday morning. Mason County Fire District 4 Chief Bob Burbridge said district firefighters responded to the blaze after receiving a call about 6:30 a.m. They believe the fire started around 4 a.m. Firefighters were able to save vehicles outside the home along with boats and fishing equipment. Mason County Fire Marshal Mike Patty said the cause of the fire was a heating device which was too close to a bed that ignited. He called the fire accidental. No one was injured. Director Lynn Longan from Mason County's Economic Development Council told Daybreak about a new opportunity for Mason County businesses.
The Edward Lowe Foundation has an economic gardening program. It's a nationwide. They're just starting. Washington State, is just starting a pilot program, and Mason County is one of the first counties to actually participate in that pilot program. We're also using some of the funds that were in the appropriations that Senator Sheldon put into our appropriations for us. We're using some of those funds to take, Jennifer and I are getting certified, and then we have enough money to put at least 5 businesses through this economic gardening program. And then the state of Washington Department of Commerce, Brian Bonlander is the director. He approached me last week and says, I want you to get me at least 5 more businesses that we will help pay for. So we could have potentially up to 10 businesses in Mason County.
Lynn says the businesses that will be considered for this program are established businesses that are ready for growth but need assistance in things like exporting, marketing, or research to get to the next level. Longan says the concept of economic gardening is to grow your own local economy by nurturing entrepreneurs. Longan and Jennifer Beria from the EDC will take part in a training and certification coming next month for economic gardening. Hear more about this in the full interview on the Daybreak page at iFIBER1newsradio.com. For iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Mary Lynn Foster.
Science Fantastic with Professor Michio Kaku. Saturdays at 5, Sundays at 6 on iFIBER One News Radio.
You know, on Science Fantastic, we've had a number of neurologists talking about the incredible breakthroughs. Did you know that using computers, we can actually communicate with the thinking brain? Telepathy, telekinesis, recording memories, photographing a dream. Machines that are controlled by the mind.
We have some extreme temperatures in our part of the country. I want to tell you about a local company, Arch Mechanical, ARCH, Arch. It's an acronym for Affordable Refrigeration, Cooling, and Heating. But that's not what's important. What's important is how Tom, the problem solver, is able to help solve your heating, cooling, and refrigeration equipment or system problems. Check out archmechanical.com and find out more. archmechanical.com.
Now, from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Jeff Slakey.
Thank you. Good morning. 8:08 iFIBER One News Radio, AM 1030 and FM 103.3. Also streaming online around the world at iFIBER1newsradio.com. Kyle Wilcher made 5 threes, scored 29. Number 2 seed Gonzaga beat 3rd seed BYU 88-84 last night to advance to the Bulldogs' 19th. Wow, this is impressive. 19th straight West Coast Conference Tournament Championship game. 19. That means kids in high school right now have never not known a time for Gonzaga to be in the tournament championship. Even seniors in high school.
Wow.
Even some freshmen. Maybe even some third-year seniors. I don't know if they still even do that. Pre-game tonight, 5:40, tip at 6. Gonzaga lost to St. Mary's a couple of times this season. If they win tonight, however, automatically entered to the NCAA tournament as WCC tournament victors. If not, we'll have to wait for Sunday. That's when the super selection process will begin. Mariners lost to the Diamondbacks yesterday, 10-8. Our next broadcast tomorrow night against Kansas City, pre-game at 7. And Seahawks wide receiver Ricardo Lockett says the neck injury he suffered last November against Dallas, so serious. This was when he was on the floor at AT&T Stadium in the field there for minutes, just sitting there motionless, not moving. Nobody was moving him. He was not moving. Finally, he started to move his fingers, it seemed like a little bit. And as he left, I think he gave the crowd a thumbs up. Whoa. He talked to paramedics and firefighters last week in Redmond. That video has since gone viral on the Facebook, and he's still wearing a neck brace. So continue not necessarily a speedy recovery, but a successful recovery for Ricardo. 8:11 now. Let's move now to the South Sounds forecast with Carol Gardner.
Good morning. It's 35, mostly cloudy. There will be rain throughout the rest of the day and overnight. Tomorrow, there's going to be a lot of rain, almost 2 inches tomorrow. Right now.
Wait, what?
Tomorrow, there's going to be, the forecast is for almost 2 inches tomorrow, rain. I know. We just had a bunch of rain. So today we're having a little bit of a reprieve, you might say.
I would say that, actually.
We'll get up to just about 49. It's going to be still a little cool. And right now, it's still only 35.
Now, from the iFIBER One News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You, from business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
8:11 at iFIBER One News Radio. Coming up in a few moments, today is National Pancake Day. So we're going to talk about the pancake machine, that Pancakes in the Park, and the Kiwanis Pancake Breakfast that gets going in July. It's the last weekend in July, and the official weatherman of Mason County, a guy who used to live on Treasure Island, kept lots of records, determined that the last weekend of July is traditionally the driest weekend of the year. So that's when they put together this pancake breakfast. We're going to talk with some folks who are involved with the Kiwanis Pancake Breakfast in a few moments. They've got some fun stories that we'll pass along, including different crazy ways they used to promote this thing, how they used to try to get the community involved, much to the chagrin of the electricians, I think, around Neyland Park, as a lot of fuses were being blown. It all starts out with a story that I found from our website dating back to July 28th, 2013, written by Jerry Eckenrode about the pancakes in the park. So that's coming up in a little bit. Also, before the end of the show this morning at 9, there is not only an eclipse today or tonight or sometime in the next 24 hours, but also
there is a asteroid that is going to be passing near Earth.
Whoa.
It's supposed to be safely fly past Earth sometime today, tomorrow. Maybe it already happened.
Safely, though.
Yeah.
You sure about that?
Well, they had lost the tracking of it for a while. But
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
You know, there's nothing like the look and feel of a real newspaper. Award-winning writers in design, voted one of the best newspapers in Washington, the Mason County Journal has the news, opinion, and information you want. Full of colorful photos and great-looking ads. Share it with family and friends. No electricity required. Look for us at over 80 locations throughout the county or visit masoncounty.com. The Mason County Journal, a big part of this wonderful place we call home.
Mason General Hospital and Family of Clinics continues to receive national recognition for its exceptional quality of care. Most recently being presented with an award for overall excellence and quality by the National Organization of States Offices of Rural Health. In February, Mason General was recognized for being an acute stroke-ready hospital, complete with telemedicine technology. These two awards come at the heels of the hospital's diagnostic imaging department receiving the American College of Radiology's gold standard for its MRI and CT programs, and MGH Olympic Physicians being recognized as a patient-centered medical home model for its highly coordinated patient-centered care. For details, see the March issue of Scope.
Mason General Hospital and Family of Clinics. Equal opportunity provider. Translation services provided.
Mason General and Family of Clinics.
Look for the latest in local news at iFIBER1newsradio.com.
Hi, this is Terry Allen with a look at the community calendar on iFIBER One News Radio. Nonprofits post your upcoming events on iFIBER1newsradio.com. The next SHS Community Pride Night is scheduled for Wednesday, March 9th, 5:30 p.m. in the Mini-Dome at Shelton High School. Be sure to attend and show support for the outstanding students, athletes, and families. For iFIBER One News Radio, I'm Terry Allen.
From the iFIBER One News Radio studios, you're listening to Daybreak.
Good morning to you. It's Daybreak here at 8:15 on a Tuesday morning. It's the 8th of March. It's National Pancake Day. Carol Gardner and Jeff Slakey here on Daybreak. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm very hungry.
I know. We've been talking about pancakes all morning, and now we will continue to dive deep into the conversation of pancakes, and we have brought the experts to the stage. It's the guys from the Kiwanis for the pancake breakfast. Ron, Wally, Bob. Morning, guys.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming in today to talk with us about this.
If she's that hungry, Bob still got some left over from last year.
From last year?
Go in the microwave and be all set.
Oh, well, there you go.
I like that idea. We can try them on the air. So you guys have all been part of this Kiwanis breakfast for a very long time now. Let's go down the list and talk with when you were part of the Kiwanis, and if you're still part of the Kiwanis. Bob, I got a feeling that you are, just by looking at your vest there. So Ron, let's start with you. Let's talk about you in the Kiwanis, and then we'll move on to the pancake breakfast.
I'm in my 51st year of Kiwanis, and first pancake breakfast I went to was 1965. Of course, the first breakfast that we were just talking about is probably 1950. Some argue 50, 51, but I think 1950.
It's a nice round number to choose.
Nice round number.
For there. Wally, what about you?
I've only been in Kiwanis 48 years.
A newbie over there.
A newbie, and I've been in Kiwanis clubs here and also a couple other places, but I came back here, and so very happy to be here in Shelton on Kiwanis.
And Bob, what about you?
Oh, I'm a kid. I'm only going on 30 years.
So you enter Kiwanis, and this becomes part of your family. I mean, you become a part of this for life, it sounds like.
It's great. Our organization, we have a great time.
What are some of the things that the Kiwanians do locally for sure, but nationally as well?
Well, I'll say locally, we do the Boy Scouts and Cub Scout troop. We pick up the highway. We help decorate the town for Christmas. And then we also go out and we also put out the flowers here in the springtime too.
Oh, you hang the flowers?
Oh yeah, we're out hanging the flowers, scholarships.
We lead scholarships.
Yeah. You guys do a lot with scholarships and give a lot of money to kids to move on through their education.
Yes, we do.
It's going to be really nice to see. I can imagine with 50, 48, 30 years that you've seen kids that you've perhaps given scholarships to come back to the community?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
That's always a good feeling.
I bet it
when
is.
Somebody comes in and says, in fact, we just had this happen. We sold a gentleman a box of grapefruit the other day. We're right in the middle of the sales of that. And he said, "You bet I am." He said, they gave my son the scholarship, was able to go to college. And so he's like, "I'll be happy to buy a box." Get you both ways.
We got a bunch of grapefruit fans here at the radio station. And how are sales going?
Oh, we still got about 70 boxes to sell, so out of 600, but we still got lots.
We deliver.
We deliver. We'll get out the phone number.
I'll tell you what, I have some in my car. I'll be bringing them in.
Hey, come on by. Bring them on by. Let's talk about the pancake breakfast. So if we're going to say 1950, that means it will be the 66th year, 67th year, something like that, this upcoming July 31st, the last weekend that was determined to be the driest weekend here in the county. So how did this thing come about? What was the story behind why the first pancake breakfast started? Who wants to take that one?
Well, they started as a money racer. And it started in the park. We've never left the park. We've been there, and it's always been on that date, which is kind of interesting, and it's always been the same place. The first year they did it, they tried everything, waffles and pancakes, so they blew the power, and et cetera, et cetera. So they said, we got to do something different. So we decided on pancakes and eggs and, bake or ham and eggs. But it's just always been a good moneymaker, and it was something that Kiwanis nationwide were involved in pancake feeds. So we kind of decided that's the way to go. Then the pancake machine was built, and Wally knows so much about that because he was working on Rainier a little after the time that was there.
The ITT Rainier, but was Rainier at the time the pancake machine was made, was down here in town, had a lab with over 200 people working there, so it was a big deal. But the engineering department was asked by some of the members of Kiwanis, including people from the lab who were members, to build this machine, and John K. Bennett was the maker of the machine, and he signed it out to the staff there, and they put it together. There was no design ahead that anybody knew about. He designed it. It was put together. It was then modified by a guy by the name of Bill Morris a little later, and it's the same machine, and it's been running ever since about 1958, 59.
Wow. The same machine every year.
Every year. So it was designed well. It holds up well, a few modifications now and then. But originally it went around too fast. So it had to go around 2 or 3 times to get a pancake done. So then Bill Morris modified it in 1960, and it's been that way ever since. So it does one revolution, basically.
Put a regulator on there or something like that?
It slowed the speed down. And now it does one revolution, and you get the pancakes.
So did you guys market your machine and sell it to other Kiwanis groups?
No, I mean, it was designed by ITT Rainier, and we didn't really own the design of it, but we owned the machine. Yeah. And it was loaned out. Lake Fair used it, some groups over there early on. But since the last few years, we've sort of kept it home so that we can keep control of it a little better. It's it's aged a little bit.
Yeah, where is it? I mean, without giving away too many secrets, where is it kept during the off times?
Thanks to Gary Olson, we got it stored out there, and we have mounted it. It used to be that Rainier stored it for us, and that was kind of neat because they had a hoist and they brought it up and it was on a rail, dropped it, and we kept it there. But when they left town, then we had to pick it up, put it in trailers, and that's a heavy piece of gear.
I bet.
So now we have it on a good sized trailer with other grills on there, and it's a pretty complete operation right now.
It's a heavy machine, by the way.
Yeah.
So as we get older, most of us don't want to lift it.
Oh, I can imagine.
We don't miss the good old days.
So how much do you think it weighs?
Oh boy,
a lot.
Leave it at that.
I would say, at least 250, 300 pounds, something like that.
It's a good 4-man job.
It's a very thick griddle. I mean, it's there to last, so it's a very thick griddle, and it's I don't know, about 3.5 feet wide, diameter, maybe.
Yeah, diameter. Yeah,
3.5, 4 feet diameter. So it's big.
So if somebody's standing there waiting for their pancakes, how long does it take?
Not very long. Every year the line gets out there and there'll be, 40, 50 people in line, but I have timed it. And at the most I see 12, 13 minutes that they have, when the line gets real long.
Yeah.
So we push them through pretty fast.
The cooking, I think, takes around 40 seconds.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
it's
cool.
close to that, and it depends how many you have on the griddle as to how fast it's cooking, because the heat's coming at a constant rate. But if you have a griddle full, it's a little slower. But you can get it off before you put the new batter on for the next pancake.
How do you decide the size of the pancake? How many meetings were put to go there? Oh, we can have this size, or the silver dollar pancakes that we were talking about. What is the general diameter, I guess, of these pancakes that somebody would get?
I would guess it's six inches or so.
Yeah.
They're not a Texas. They're not a Texas pancake, and they're not a dollar pancake. They're they're the in between sort of normal what most people.
And we
would
give
expect.
whatever people want. Most people want 2 or 3 pancakes.
Sure,
that's what they get.
Yeah.
And we have one of the local gentlemen here. We swear every year he comes back 8 or 10 times, has 8 or 10 breakfasts, and so. He eats a lot of pancakes.
It's as many as you can eat.
All you can eat.
Everything you can eat for the pancakes. We keep doing it, but we have dispensers that actually are the ones that control how much goes on at a time, so we can adjust those.
I was reading through this story that Jerry put together a couple years ago about some of the ways that you guys tried to advertise the pancake breakfast coming up, including taking when Greystone was around, one of the old cement companies, you had the mixer repainted to say the pancake batter and drive around. What were some of the other kind of zanier ways you guys tried to get people
Bill
to come
Summers and Dean Palmer, bless their souls, were great idea people, and we filmed barges when they used to bring barges in, full of gasoline and that. Okay, that's pancake batter, and we stopped the train on railroad. That was the most infamous one, I guess. And had the table all set up with candles and everything, and brought it out for the engineer. I can't imagine doing that today.
Did they know?
Oh, and
the leaflets.
We had a guy that was a
From
pilot.
the sky?
Yeah, and he had little plates, and they were printed on the plates. I still have a couple of those, pancakes in the park, and dropped them from the sky. Heaven forbid now, but
The other way we got a lot of traffic was Dean Palmer would go out into the road and stop cars and ask them if they've had breakfast. If they said no, they say, "Here's where you park.
Here's where you go.
Come on in."
Yeah.
66 years or so. That's 3 generations of families that come back to this event. And it really is, as the commercials we talk about, it is like a high school reunion for Shelton. And the Kiwanian says, "Come eat pancakes." You can use that sign. Is that this year's sign?
no, this was
An old one.
This was an old
In
one.
the same date. It works.
Pancake breakfast was $2 for adults, and $1 for children at that time. Families $6.50, and that's an individual person today. So.
I'm sure you guys are busy during the event, but most of the time you got to be just being stopped by people. Every time hello, always seeing people
It's a social event.
Yes, it is.
And so much so, it's been such a popular event and weekend that the fair, they took your weekend.
Yeah.
They said, you guys have got something figured out here. This is a great weekend, dry. And so it is the 31st this year of July. You're not going to want to miss this again. This will be the 67th.
Right.
We'll just say right
67th.
now. 67th annual Pancakes Breakfast. And it all helps local groups. It's put on by the Kiwanis. Who are we helping these days with the monies from the Pancake Breakfast?
Well, we go to the schools and we give out pride awards to the students once a month. Like I said, money for scholarships. We have youth soccer. We are basically here for the youth to raise money for youth activities. This is our basic goal. We're here for the kids.
That's a great goal to have.
This is why we are here.
How can people be involved at the Shelton Kiwanis if they are looking to be a member in good standing?
I would really It's too bad because all service organizations are struggling right now, every one of us. And everybody's looking for members. And we have talked with other organizations amongst ourselves to try to get people interested in the community again and come out into a service club. And there are a lot of people that donate time, that don't belong to clubs. But I've always felt that the club's the way to go, and they're organized, all of us, all the different organizations. And we love Kiwanis. I've been over 50 years in this sucker. So, and Wally 50. But that's the one we love. But they're all worthwhile, and can't say enough for them.
We meet on Tuesdays at Zinn's for lunch, and anybody who's interested, we welcome guests to come in. We'll buy them lunch, and we'd love to have them come eat a great lunch there and listen to a good program and see what we're all about.
Well, today is Tuesday, so what time is lunch?
We have lunch is usually about 11:30, and then about 12. A little after 12, we start our program, which we usually have a great program. It's all about what's going on in our community. I mean, we have great programs, and we just have a good time. We all just get along, work together, doing our projects. You know, it's almost like a family. It is family, really.
It is family over these so many years.
And we're welcoming other people into our family.
Yes, we have a great time.
Open arms today. You can learn more about the Kiwanis at Zinn's at 11:30 for their weekly lunch. And again, the pancake breakfast is coming up. It'll be this July, the end of July, the 31st. Ron, Wally, Bob, thanks for coming by this morning, talking with us on National Pancake Day.
And if they can't get there until noon, that's great.
Okay, too.
That's all right.
That's right.
You betcha.
Thank you much, guys.
Thank you.
It is 8:30 here now at iFIBER ONE News Radio, and on the phone line is Edward Jones, and we're going to say good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, Karen?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing well, thanks.
Kind of making me hungry for pancakes.
Oh, I know. Sounds delicious. These pancakes, we're going to have to wait a couple more months here
I
before
know.
they bring
That's
that
a great
machine out.
breakfast.
It is 8:30 now. We're checking stock numbers. What's going on?
Well, U.S. stocks are trading lower after weak economic data from Asia reignited concerns over the global growth outlook. Data today showed Japan's economy and Chinese exports are shrinking, which revived anxiety that the monetary policy will not be enough to support the global economy. In domestic news, borrowing by U.S. consumers slowed at the start of the new year, a possible sign of caution among households at a time of volatility in global financial markets. Bond prices are mostly higher today given the increased demand and pullbacks in equity markets. So far this morning in the S&P 500, the best performing sector is utilities, while the worst performing sector is energy. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 107 points at 16,966. The Standard & Poor's 500 Index is down 20 points at 1,981. And the NASDAQ Composite Index is down 35 points at 4,672. This morning, volume on the New York Stock Exchange is high with about 306 million shares being traded, and decliners are outnumbering advancers by roughly 5-to-1 margin. In the commodity market, the spot price of gold is up $1.20 to $1,268.56. The spot price of silver is down 17 cents to $15.47, and crude oil prices are down $1.22 to $36.68. In the bond markets, a 30-year Treasury yield is currently 2.6%, and the 10-year Treasury yield is 1.81%. Stocks of local interest, Amazon is up 90 cents, Costco is up $1.59, Boeing is down $1.13, Starbucks is down 14 cents, and Microsoft is up 46 cents. This is Karen Shade of Edward Jones, member SIPC, serving individual investors with personalized attention and long-term financial advice. I'm located at 1051 Southeast State Route 3 in Shelton, and if you'd like additional information, you can contact me at 426-4590, and daily commentary is also located on our website at edwardjones.com.
All right, Karen, thanks much.
You're welcome.
It's 8:32 now, and the latest in local news from Mary Lynn Foster is brought to you this time by Fred Holmes Tree Service.
From the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, I'm Mary Lynn Foster. A state-of-the-art Sierra Pacific Industries sawmill could be running in early 2017. Lisa Perry, Community Relations Representative for Sierra Pacific, says they think that it's going to be one of the highest tech mills in the nation. Using laser technology to size up and to cut logs, the mill is to produce wooden boards used in construction. The goal is to produce 500 million board feet of studs a year. The mill is to be tooled and to produce 2x4s, 2x6s, and 4x4 studs. The Sierra Pacific Mill is to replace the Simpson Timber Company's Shelton plant, which was closed last year, leaving some 270 workers jobless. A house on the Squaxin Island Tribe Reservation was destroyed by fire yesterday morning. Mason County Fire District 4 Chief Bob Burbridge said district firefighters responded to the blaze after receiving a call about 6:30 a.m. They believe the fire started around 4 a.m. Firefighters were able to save vehicles outside the home along with boats and fishing equipment. Mason County Fire Marshal Mike Patty said the cause of the fire was a heating device which was too close to a bed that ignited. He called the fire accidental. No one was injured. Director Lynn Longan from Mason County's Economic Development Council told Daybreak about a new opportunity for Mason County businesses.
The Edward Lowe Foundation has an economic gardening program. It's a nationwide. They're just starting. Washington State, is just starting a pilot program, and Mason County is one of the first counties to actually participate in that pilot program. We're also using some of the funds that were in the appropriations that Senator Sheldon put into our appropriations for us. We're using some of those funds to take, Jennifer and I are getting certified, and then we have enough money to put at least 5 businesses through this economic gardening program. And then the state of Washington Department of Commerce, Brian Bonlander is the director. He approached me last week and says, I want you to get me at least 5 more businesses that we will help pay for. So we could have potentially up to 10 businesses in Mason County.
Lynn says the businesses that will be considered for this program are established businesses that are ready for growth but need assistance in things like exporting, marketing, or research to get to the next level. Longan says the concept of economic gardening is to grow your own local economy by nurturing entrepreneurs. Longan and Jennifer Beria from the EDC will take part in a training and certification coming next month for economic gardening. Hear more about this in the full interview on the Daybreak page at iFIBER1newsradio.com. For iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Mary Lynn Foster.
Ascend Roofing Company in Shelton's on top of it. 868-2730. Roofing work that speaks for itself.
Just a note to express our appreciation for restoring our faith in a handshake. You did what you said you would, and that's all anyone can expect.
We truly appreciate the work that was done. And your son Ryan is a wonderful representative of your company. Thank you again for making the gutters clean and our roof moss resistant.
You could be the next happy customer by calling Ascend Roofing. 868-2730.
Say, what's for lunch? Breakfast. No, what's for lunch? Oh, yeah, breakfast. Breakfast for lunch? Yep. Then what's for dinner? Breakfast is. I thought you said breakfast was for lunch.
Oh, I totally did.
But now you're saying breakfast is for dinner. Oh, yeah, I am. So, wait, is lunch for breakfast?
No, breakfast is for breakfast. With McDonald's all-day breakfast menu, which includes the Egg McMuffin, hot cakes, and hash browns, any time is delicious breakfast time.
Man, I'm heading to McDonald's. Have a good afternoon.
Don't you mean good morning?
I do now.
McDonald's all-day breakfast menu varies by location. Introducing McDonald's signature crafted recipes. We're talking bold sandwiches featuring authentic ingredients.
What?
You know it, like the guacamole made with Haas avocados in the Pico guacamole recipe.
Wow.
Barbecue sauce made with Vidalia onions in the sweet barbecue bacon recipe.
Nice.
And bacon with maple seasoning in the maple bacon Dijon recipe.
Amazing.
Try them on chicken or beef.
I want to try them all.
It's a new way to enjoy McDonald's. Create your signature crafted sandwich today at participating McDonald's.
The Tom Hartman Show, live 9 to noon, weekdays on iFIBER One News Radio.
This is not an election cycle where middle-of-the-road Democrats are going to stir up enough of the base and enough excitement and enthusiasm that they're going to seriously win elections. And that's the thing that Republicans have figured out and Democrats have yet to learn, which is that elections are not about swaying so-called undecided voters. They're about stirring up the base. The base will bring the undecided voters along with them. They'll do it through social media. They'll do it through talking to their neighbors. They'll do it by talking to people in the workplace. But you've got to energize the base.
Everybody, Dave Packer reporting on sports. Looking to shake off an ugly loss to the Lakers, Steph Curry and the Warriors held history in their hands Monday night.
On the way, he got it! Curry for about 29 feet, and that's number 300 recovery.
Tim Roy on KNBR as Curry scored 41 points, becoming the first player to sink 300 threes in a season. The Warriors beat the Magic, earning a league record 45th straight win at home. Coming into Cleveland, down 4 starters, the Grizzlies beat the odds on the road.
Irving, they get it to him. He steps into a top-of-the-arc three. No good. Grizzlies win it tonight in Cleveland as they pull off an incredible road win against the top team in the Eastern Conference.
The call on WMFS as a banged-up Memphis squad prevailed, beating the Cavs 106-103. LeBron moved into 13th place on the NBA scoring list. Pau Gasol's triple-double carried the Bulls over the Bucks. Pacers topped the Spurs, and Hornets, Clippers, and Pelicans were all winners. A flurry of activity in the NFL as teams begin wheeling and dealing. DeMarco Murray's representatives have confirmed reports that the Tennessee Titans are finalizing a trade for the Philadelphia Eagles running back. Murray had a rocky tenure in Philly, frustrated over his role in an offense under former coach Chip Kelly. ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter says this is just one of the latest moves in a purge of Kelly ties.
We've seen the Eagles essentially agree to deals that will send DeMarco Murray to Tennessee, Byron Maxwell and Kiko Alonso to Miami, and Philadelphia may not be done moving and shaking just yet.
The trade is expected to be completed Wednesday when the new league year begins. Other notable moves, the RG3 era in Washington has come to an end. The Redskins released the 2012 Offensive Rookie of the Year. Safety Deshaun Goldson was also let go by the team. And 7-time Pro Bowl Logan Mankins has called it quits. And Nike is putting a pause on its relationship with tennis star Maria Sharapova after she admitted to failing a drug test. Dave Packer, ABC Sports.
Now, from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Jeff Slakey.
Well, good morning to you. 640 at iFIBER ONE Newsradio. Checking sports tonight. We have Gonzaga basketball for you, and they are playing in the WCC tournament finale against St. Mary's. Pre-game tonight at 5:40. The tip-off is at 6. Gonzaga win tonight puts them right into the NCAA tournament. If not, we'll have to wait till Sunday for Selection Sunday to find out if the Zags will make it once again into the NCAA tournament. We'll have the game tonight, and we'll follow the Zags as far as they go in the NCAA tournament in the event that they are there. Wellington Castile homered and drove in 5 runs, leading the Diamondbacks over Seattle 10-8 yesterday. Our next Mariners broadcast is tomorrow against Kansas City and the Royals. Pregame at 7. 8:41 now at iFIBER ONE Newsradio. And taking a look at the South Sounds forecast, here's Carol Gardner.
Good morning. It's mostly cloudy, 35. It's going to rain just a little bit throughout the day. We won't even see barely 0.2 inches. So there's not even going to be a quarter of an inch. But tomorrow the forecast is still looking like it's going to be almost 2 inches of rain. So you watch out for the flooding, all that type of warnings will be out. Right now it's 35, overcast, we'll have some rain, and we'll reach a high about 49.
Now, from the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor, your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
8:42 here at iFIBER ONE News Radio. About 20 minutes left in the big show, and we'll have a conversation in a moment. We'll take a step aside for a break, but when we come back, we have 2 space-themed news notes to pass along. One, phew, dodge that bullet. It could be your headline. And the next, whoa, where are my sunglasses? That could be the next headline.
Yeah, it could be.
Carol will fill in the blanks. I'll have to tell her what those blanks are so
Yeah,
she
it's a great idea.
passes, so she knows what I'm actually talking about this morning. It's all coming up on Daybreak right after this.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
I feel right at home on JohnNScott.com.
Hi, Hi, this is Dawn Pinnell from John L. Scott Real Estate here in Shelton. For a while now, I have been saying welcome home and sharing with you some great listings and some hopefully educational and interesting items of riveting radio real estate topics. We're moving our time slot to Friday at 8:55, right at the end of the morning show. I hope you will continue to listen and that you will contact me with any of your real estate needs. I would love to help you say, I'm home.
This is Kathy. The best way to keep current on local news and issues is by subscribing to the Mason County Journal. The importance of subscribing to the paper hit home when the marijuana businesses started cropping up in local neighborhoods and people called the paper saying they hadn't heard about the zoning changes. I had to inform the callers that this issue had been discussed in the paper for many months, and the best way to know what was happening in their community was to read the local newspaper. As a result, many of them started up a subscription. Call 426-4412 or visit masoncounty.com to start your subscription today.
Hi, everyone. This is Mark Tobert, your advertising consultant from iFIBER ONE Newsradio. Are you missing customers because you only market to a specific group? iFIBER ONE Newsradio can help you hit a larger group of buyers with our diverse audience. We are 24 hours of local and national breaking news, award-winning talk radio, and primetime sports, including local high school sports. What does this mean to you? This means our listeners listen longer to entire programs and don't switch to another station when a commercial comes on. Our coverage in the Puget Sound area hits over 500,000 listeners, including Mason County, Thurston County, Grace Harbor County, King, Pierce, Joint Base Lewis McCourt, and Kitsap County to the Bremerton Naval Base. All advertising is 100% tax deductible. So how can you afford not to advertise? Call me, Mark Tobert, at iFIBER ONE Newsradio to become a total audience plan advertiser. Just call 360-426-1030.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio, KMAS.
Good morning to you. It's Daybreak here, 8:45. It is Tuesday, the 8th of March. Before we move on any further, still my tummy is rumbling after that awesome conversation with Ron and the gang, Ron, Wally, and Bob from the Kiwanis Club. Again, they meet Tuesdays at Zinn's. The food, I think they said 11:30, and then their program where you actually can learn about the Kiwanis is at noon, right. And always looking for new members. And they've been doing a lot of good in this community for a lot of years. That's awesome.
Yeah, 50 years, and the newbie was 30 years.
I know. That's crazy. Okay. Flight of the Century is happening today. If you want to get on the best airplane flight you could probably ever take, it's today.
Tell me more.
I am not going to tell you any more, but ABC's Becky Perlow will explain this one.
In 2015, astronomer Joe Rao discovered that an Alaska Airlines flight traveling from Anchorage, Alaska to Honolulu would be passing directly through the path of the total solar eclipse. But passengers would only see the eclipse if the flight was changed to depart 25 minutes later than planned. So what did Rao do?
Well, I just made a pest of myself. What I did was I just kept calling and emailing them and telling them what a fantastic opportunity this was going to be.
Alaska Airlines agreed to delay the flight, giving 165 lucky passengers a memory to last a lifetime. Becky Perlow, ABC News, Washington.
So this flight normally leaves at 1:35 Anchorage time. It's going to leave at 2 o'clock today, and from Alaska to Hawaii, and it's going to give these folks an opportunity of a lifetime to see an eclipse, almost, like level with these folks.
So did they know that was going to happen?
He knew. That's what this guy knew.
Yeah, but did anybody else who decided to make the reservations? It's the eclipse flight. You have to pay an extra $10.
I'm sure they ding you a little bit here and there.
I mean, did they advertise it as the eclipse flight?
No, I don't think so. And this
it's a great idea for a private plane company, though.
It really is. I've always imagined being high above the skyline on like the 4th of July. To be able to look down on fireworks. I always thought that'd be awesome. But to be above this cloud line and see an eclipse during your flight, and, oh, by the way, you're going from the frigid Anchorage to beautiful Hawaii. Right. That's not a bad flight, just on its own term. So, stargazers locally will want to keep their eyes to the sky this evening. Mark Remillard has this report.
For the first time in more than 3 decades, stargazers will have a chance to see a supermoon eclipse. Tonight, the moon will appear 14% bigger and brighter as it reaches its closest point to Earth. And while that's going on, the Earth will pass in front of the moon, causing a full lunar eclipse. That combination won't be seen again until 2033, so keep your eye to
the sky is what he said there at the end of that, and it's going to be at about 7:15 our time this evening, 10:15 East Coast time. So I believe that'll be the time, and I'll make sure we check on that for sure. We come back from this break. Carol has another outer space type story. 2 stories, actually, to bring along.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
March Weather Lore isn't all about lions and lambs. A look at some of the month's other weather wisdom today from the Old Farmer's Almanac. With more practical tips and useful advice, this is the Old Farmer's Almanac radio report for Tuesday, March 8th. It is the 68th day of the year, and pop vocalist Mickey Dolenz has a birthday. March Weather Lore isn't all about lions and lambs. There's a wealth of other proverbs that you can put to the test this month. Here's a few. So many mists in March you see, so many frosts in May will be. Thunder in March is said to bring a fruitful yet sorrowful year. And here's one with a proven scientific basis. A year of snow, a year of plenty. Lingering snow delays the blossoming of fruit trees until the threat of frost is past. It also minimizes thaw frost-freeze cycles harmful to winter grains. Oh, and about those lions and lambs, we revisit those at the end of the month. That is the Old Farmer's Almanac radio report. Find more weather lore online at almanac.com.
From the iFIBER One News Radio studios, you're listening to Daybreak.
Hey, Jeff. Yes. Just wanted to let you know that supermoon eclipse was in September.
September?
Yeah, you might have been time traveling a little bit.
So I was off on that one.
Just a little bit, yeah. There will be a lunar eclipse on March 23rd.
Oh, so there is something coming up in a little bit, but
Yes.
It's not what I was talking about.
No, and we should be able to see it in North America. We should be able to see parts of the eclipse, and we'll talk about that when it gets a little closer.
That Alaska to Hawaii flight is today, but what I was talking about, the supermoon, you're right, that was back from September.
Right, but then, okay, so I guess there's so much information out there, it's sort of crazy. So the total solar eclipse is happening between March 8th and March 9th.
Right. So there is the solar eclipse, which is what I was referencing was an eclipse and a supermoon.
Yes.
At the same time.
Right.
So it's still an event today. Total solar eclipse happening throughout the day in the evening, and then a lunar eclipse at the end of the month. Okay.
And I don't know how available it will be here for us to see.
Come on, you're the weather person now. You need to make sure that the weather is good for us to see this.
Yeah, I just don't know if we'll be able to see it though, just because of where we're located, not just the weather.
Okay. Additionally, there's some
other information. We had probably heard about an asteroid that was going to fly by the Earth between like March 5th and March 9th. And so people were sort of like, well, how come you don't know when it's going to fly by? And well, they sort of lost track of it for a while. But that was a couple of years ago when it first flew by. Then they lost track of it. It's only about 100-foot wide asteroid.
Only.
Well, you can breathe a sigh of relief, like you had mentioned earlier. It actually flew by yesterday afternoon, and it's fine. It's fine. It's gone. So hopefully they'll be able to track it. I mean, though, if it did hit, though, I mean that happened in Russia 3 years ago, about 100-foot asteroid.
I remember that.
Yeah, and that damaged buildings and injured more than 1,000 people. The hole was, I don't know how big the hole is, but anyways, it could, but nothing's flying on us right now. There's going to be nothing hitting us right now. I mean,
you ever think about how much energy it takes to get these space shuttles off the ground? When I jump, there's not a lot of force there. I don't have very good jumping abilities, but
to get off the Earth's atmosphere
Right.
and then pushed back down. The amount of pressure and power put out by these space shuttles to get outside of Earth's orbit. So when something is 1.3 million miles away, and that's how far away this thing flew by, that sounds like a long ways away. You know what I'm saying? When people talk about how far away these asteroids are and they could impact Earth, I wonder how close before the gravitational pull really starts affecting this stuff.
Well, the moon is in our gravitational pull, isn't it? We are not. I am not a major. I love space, but obviously I'm not a space expert. But right now, there's no asteroids or comets on a path to strike Earth that we know of.
Okay.
That's my disclaimer. But there was an asteroid that struck Earth 66 million years ago. Do you remember when that one happened, Jeff?
Yeah, that's the one that killed all the dinosaurs.
Yes, that's the one that killed all the dinosaurs, and it's in the Gulf of Mexico. So scientists are going to try to sink a diamond-tipped bit into the heart of this crater called the Chicxulub crater. It's the buried remnant of the asteroid impact that killed off those dinosaurs. They want to get some rock cores that are going to contain clues to how life came back in the wake of that huge disaster.
Wow. That is impressive.
It is impressive. They're going to go out about 16 miles from the coast. The water is about 50 feet deep, and then they're going to sink their cores into over 1,600 feet of ocean floor, rock, or sea floor, or whatever it is, the deposits. They're going to work 2 months, day and night.
Are they doing this for science or are they fracking?
It's for science. University of Texas, geophysicists. It's a $10 million project sponsored by the International Ocean Discovery Program and the International Continental Scientific Drilling Program. So,
well, that's pretty cool because I have seen that's where one of these big asteroids killed all the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
8:54 here at iFIBER ONE News Radio. New roster of celebrity competitors and their pro partners are out for ABC's Dancing with the Stars. It was revealed this morning on Good Morning America. Here is the cast.
Come on out, Jody Sweeten and Kiyomo Sepe! Pittsburgh Steeler Antonio Brown and his partner Sharna Burgess. And everybody, please welcome Paige Van Zandt and Mark Ballas. Wanye Morris and his partner Lindsay Arnold. Marla Maples, come on out, along with Tony Devolani. Come on out, Doug Flutie and his partner Karina Smirnoff. Misha Barton and her partner Artem, come on out. Come on out, Super Bowl champ Von Miller and his partner Whitney Carson. Kim Fields and Sasha Farber, get out here. It is Geraldo Rivera and his partner Edito Slavinska. Niall DeMarco and Keita Murgatroyd, get out. Please welcome back Ginger Z and her partner Val Shermovsky.
That's an amazing cast right there. Marla Maples, ex-Mrs. Donald Trump, Doug Flutie, quarterback, Geraldo.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see
These are great shows.
How they dance.
You know what's good about these shows is that whatever you think about the people, the stars on there, they go through a boot camp to dance and learn to dance. I mean, they practice every single day, I feel. I feel like I read that somewhere. Every day, these folks put multiple hours in.
Yeah, it's got to be very, very challenging, especially if you are not much of a dancer. And so the dancers themselves that have to teach and train these people.
Yeah.
Is interesting. I've seen sort of some of the outtakes where they are having the meltdowns and they're not going to dance again, or they're in the corner blubbering, I mean, it's a hard thing. And you have to learn it, and you have to do it on live TV in front of everybody, and everybody gets to weigh in their opinion about how you are awful.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of gumption to get out there and dance. If you were offered the chance?
Yes, hands down. Tomorrow on Daybreak, 35th District Representative Drew McEwen will stop by as we are getting closer to the final day of the legislative session. Also, Transit Talk comes our way at 8:15. Mike Callahan, spokesperson for the Pioneer Kiwanis, talks about the crab, clam, and spaghetti dinner on Thursday, and more conversations throughout the rest of the week here on iFIBER One News Radio and Daybreak. Tom Hartman comes up our way at 9 o'clock. Tonight we have the WCC tournament finale as our Gonzaga Bulldogs, number 2 seed in the tournament, taking on the number 1 seed, St. Mary's. Pregame at 5:40, tip-off at 6. Gonzaga wins this one. They're into the NCAA tournament for March Madness and the bracket busting. If not, we'll have to wait for the selection process on Sunday. And I'm not too sure, based on some of their losses this season, if Gonzaga will be welcomed in to the NCAA tournament. Also, check out the iFiber1newsradio.com this morning. Sierra Pacific has a state-of-the-art mill, and they think it could be under construction in late spring or early summer and completed next year.
Yeah,
That's
going.
fast.
Yeah, it's
I
moving
like
along. Moving along. You can find those stories on iFiber1newsradio.com.
In addition to that, check out our community calendar, and you can enter in events that are happening on our community calendar, and that is under the local tab. It's 8:58 here now, and we'll step aside. That does it for the big show today. We'll be back tomorrow on a Wednesday, the 9th of March. Tom Hartman coming up next. Have a good one, Carol.
You too, Jeff.